So did we just figure out how they made the pyramids with giants and
Oh, I don't know. I think that could have been part of it. I think it changes all of the math.
Giants
you know?
had tamed dinosaurs, and they used them like we use elephants.
That's a new theory I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
Sounds like
You heard it here first, folks.
There it
Going
is.
viral.
Giants Tame Dinosaurs, Part 2. Have you ever done the Pink Floyd thing?
Can you really do the Pink Floyd?
Have you? Do you know about the Pink Floyd?
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard of it. Never
I
done
have
it.
it right here. Not that we're going to play this right now. But
Why
yeah.
would you have that right there?
Why would I not?
Going on Connor's podcast, what do I need?
All right.
I need the full Wizard of Oz synced with Dark Side of the Moon.
I had no. Did we have any plan of going?
No,
to the Wizard
not
of
at
Oz?
all.
We had no plan on this show.
Trump's favorability with under 30-year-olds went from, at the time of the inauguration, he was +1, okay? And now he's -54.
Whoa. Like, my whole thing with Trump is drain the swamp.
Yeah.
Like, that was my whole thing.
Yeah, he became a swamp creature himself. And, like...
Really? You really
yes,
think that?
Yes, absolutely, he's a swamp creature. He is. He's bought and paid for, man. It's done.
We have played this game, and I think the Catholics are to blame, that the name of the game is to be one of everyone else. It's just to fit in. We're not made to fit in the world. We're not. Life's just supposed to be really hard.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do a lot of purgatory here on earth. We do more of it when we die, and then we go to heaven for eternity, which is really long. So whatever you have to suffer during this life, small potatoes.
I heard the coolest quote during a homily on Sunday. If people understood what eternity was, they would change everything about what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. Gallagher Brothers edition, take one.
Gonna need it.
Take one
Good.
of 73.
No, you should have just said, yeah, I should have started with take 73. Just obviously, and we're gonna need a better name than just Gallagher Brothers.
Why?
No, but I know two things about figs.
Okay.
There's a brand called Fig Newtons. I've never eaten that.
Are there figs in Fig Newtons?
Probably not.
Probably not.
It's American FDA approved food, so it can't possibly be figs. And then also, like, wasps climb inside figs and lay eggs and babies, and so a lot of times when you're eating figs, you end up accidentally eating dead wasps.
That's gross.
That is very gross.
So,
Yeah.
you
That's why
know,
I've never eaten them.
I gave up cookies one time for Lent, but when you look at Fig Newtons, it doesn't say cookie anywhere.
There you go.
So you can eat Fig
The
Newtons.
ultimate loophole.
There you go.
I also gave up pizza one time and decided that calzones are not pizza, and they're not.
It's up.
So you can have calzones instead.
Is spam meat?
That's like saying it's not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich if you cut the crust off. Like,
It's not. It's
not
an Uncrustable.
No. Speaking of peanut butter, it's not a peanut butter and jelly sandwich if you use almond butter instead of peanut butter, which I've given up peanut butter for Lent as well.
There you go.
And then
Okay.
maple almond butter
Mm,
is not peanut butter.
yeah,
God appreciates the ingenuity of these things.
I think so.
you have a direct
I think
line
so.
to it.
I want to create a book. I want to write a book called If I Only Knew a Publisher.
Mhm.
I would call it Lenten Cheats. This is significant because it's Advent right now, and you have to give up something for Advent. It's a penitential season.
Yeah. Well,
I gave up sweets. So when you say sweets, then you're kind of screwed because it's like everything. What did
Yep.
you just say?
I said, oops.
I
I don't know if I've ever given up anything for Advent. Way to go, Dad.
You should.
Yeah.
Drop the ball on that one.
I hate celebrating Christmas before Christmas.
Why? Do you not listen to Christmas carols?
Because but that doesn't count. I'll listen to Christmas music
So
anytime. of year.
only December 25th to January 6th.
It's the 12 days of Christmas. It starts at Christmas. I'm telling you.
Yeah, but don't you want to spend more money than you have on useless consumer products?
We gave up buying anything during Advent. We do all of our Christmas shopping before Advent starts. So it's all done.
So you don't get the Black Friday deals?
No.
Oh, bummer.
No.
I got some good deals.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Mom and Dad came over, and usually I have my wife's family in town.
Just mom and dad.
Yeah, and you.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I
my-
didn't get an invitation.
Well, we don't have
well.
Chinese food, so
Right.
yeah.
And who would want my massive family to come over?
We
We do eat, by the way, that refers to we eat Chinese food every Thanksgiving.
How did that start again? I forgot.
The twins were born 8 years ago on October 14th. And by the time by Thanksgiving came around, it was like We had two of these little babies, and it was just awful.
So you had 12 kids, and Thanksgiving was intact for all of that, and then the twins come in, you're like, nah, screw that.
Ashley's like, just go
Chinese
get
food.
Just go get Chinese food. This is ridiculous. We're not cooking.
Is
it became a tradition, and we tried to change it this year.
Yeah.
We sent a text out to all the teenagers like, hey, let's do Italian or something. This is getting kind of old. They revolted. They were like, what the hell are you talking about? They were pissed.
With your family, that's dangerous.
They were like, what are you talking about? And not only that, but Mary, she lives in Raleigh, and she got her friends to have Thanksgiving dinner with Chinese food. It's like spreading. It's going viral. I mean, who really likes turkey anyway?
I know. JD Vance actually had a good thing about that. Did you see that?
Mm-mm.
He was talking to like all these military people, and he's like, hey, like, here's the thing. Raise your hand if you like turkey. And like people rose their hand. He's like, you are full of it. No one likes turkey.
Oh,
I don't.
Do you know? He's like, do you know how I know
turkey.
that? Because when else do you buy an 18-pound turkey throughout the year to eat it?
yeah.
If you liked it, you get it other times.
Right. And
No, I order turkey like the barbecue restaurants and stuff. I get turkey all the time.
Did Mom
Love turkey.
bring you a honey baked ham?
oh yeah, it's already gone.
It's like her thing.
It's her thing.
It's actually, I like honey baked
I
ham.
discovered yesterday, my wife Ellie told me that Mom texted her and said, we brought a honey baked ham to Brian's house for you and left it in the refrigerator.
What?
Sorry, I tried.
No, it was turkey.
Well, whatever. Yeah, it was a turkey,
Yeah.
but it's in your fridge still.
Yeah. Okay.
I
It's
didn't
probably
get it.
not in my fridge.
It's probably
anymore.
not. Yeah, it's probably not consumable anymore either way. How do you like that Macy's Day Parade?
For the viewer or the listener, we were. Should I just get the text message? Let's just look at this.
Oh, God.
This was so good.
For the first time in my life,
This is.
I watched the Macy's Day Parade. It actually took me a second. Like, what the heck is he talking about? It's like Thomas Massey. What? No. Oh, it's the Thanksgiving
What did he
Macy's Day
say?
Parade.
He said something. I can't find it. He said something like, "Oh, here it is. Maybe we can do a little segment and making it funny called Teaching Conor Culture," which we've talked about before because you live under a rock.
It's a big rock.
It's a big rock. And then I just watched the Massey Day Parade and didn't know a single person. It was awesome. I said, it's also the Macy's Day Parade. Macy's is a major U.S. department store, Connor. Yeah, whatever. Never heard of it. So how was the Macy's Day Parade?
You know, I learned that Pac-Man's 46 years old, same age as me, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it was rappers that I've like never heard of in my whole life. I mean, this is so dumb. Like every other, you have like these floats and everything in the bands, and that's kind of cool. And I watched it for a few minutes with my kid, but then like rappers come through on these floats and rap, and they're clearly lip singing, which is
They are clearly all lip syncing.
it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like they don't even try to
Yeah.
hide it.
Yeah.
It's stupid, and it's like the Panther game yesterday, which we beat the Rams, which was awesome.
Yes.
But when I started going there, I think like in between plays, they would play classic rock. You'd hear some Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones or even Metallica or something. Now, between every single play, it's rap.
Yeah.
Every single play.
Yeah, it is.
It's obnoxious.
I was watching the Macy's Day Parade. the Jolly Green Giant came
Isn't he
on.
a soccer player?
No, that's Messi.
Oh.
Yeah, that's Messi.
Close.
Close.
So I was.
Have you ever been into a Macy's?
Yeah, I've been in
Yeah.
Macy's. Absolutely, I
Couple
can't.
times.
What do they sell?
Clothes.
Stuff.
It's like Belk's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but nicer. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it as nice as J.C. Penney?
Oh man, nothing's as nice as J.C. Penney.
Is that still open?
A couple places in Gaston County.
Yeah.
No, but I was watching the Jolly Green Giant, and I was saying, man, they spend a lot of money on these floats for like marketing, right? It's like out of the marketing budget,
Mm-hmm.
and you have like 20 people or 100 people carrying like, what is it, a leash or whatever, like
a tether.
a tether to this float, right? And I'm sitting there thinking, you know what the best marketing would be for the Jolly Green Giant? Just let go of the float. And then it's going to fly
Fly
up
away.
over New York City. It's going to be everywhere over social media. And that's going to be the best marketing Jolly Green Giant would ever have gotten.
Yeah.
Why don't they just let go of it?
What was the little?
Only you would think like that.
Well, I'm just.
Wasn't there like a? I didn't see it, but I heard there's like a little mini float. What was that? You know what I'm talking about?
A balloon?
Balloon.
No. They had like, we gotta look it up. Oh, the goldfish, the food.
Yeah.
They had a mini float.
Yeah, and it was they had like a little remote control car,
Oh.
like this big, carrying a float that was like this big.
Oh. I didn't.
And it was advertising, I guess, goldfish, which I thought was pretty darn creative.
Yeah.
Because it's like the only float that wasn't enormous, and it was super small.
Let's see here. We got something. I did not see this before.
Not that I sat and watched the whole darn thing, but I heard that from somebody else.
Yeah,
I really did.
Go ahead and put this up on screen, Nicholas.
You know who opened? There it is. Is that it?
Goldfish.
Yeah, it is.
And that's a remote control car.
Pretty small.
Do
That's
your
cool.
kids eat goldfish?
I thought that's
Yeah. Okay. I just didn't know if that's
it's like the
a
go-to
new
thing when
parent
you're sick. Like,
Yeah.
you get like
Yeah.
little cracker, what are those little crackers you get when you're sick? Like when
Saltines?
Saltines?
everyone's barfing.
Yeah.
You get goldfish and whatever.
Maybe they're barfing because you're giving them goldfish when they're sick.
Maybe.
I spend a lot of money on goldfish.
Thanks, Nicholas.
So did you see the person who opened the Macy's Day Parade?
No.
Cynthia, the lady from
Oh.
the
Gosh,
person from Wicked.
she's special.
The Cynthia Agruvo.
Arivo.
She's in Wicked.
I can't watch it. I can't let my kids watch it.
What, the movie Wicked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, don't. But she's a specimen for sure. She is. Well, first of all, she's got a very good voice, but she kind of has that alien look. You know, long fingernails. She's been everywhere recently. But her,
I have no idea what you're talking about. But here's the problem. It's like I have no idea what the storyline is, and I don't really care. A couple people have tried to explain it to me. I said, "Stop! I don't care."
Yeah.
But it's
a movie called Wicked.
Well, it's not that. It's that they're trying to turn the bad witch into a good witch and like show like at least there's some good beginning or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, like the whole goal of evil is to like invert all this stuff, flip all of this stuff upside down. I'm telling you, that's what they do this so strategically through these cartoons and everything.
For sure.
They want us to like the villain. They want the little kids to like empathize with the villain.
Yeah.
See that the villain is really just a victim.
And this one's about animal rights. She's actually taking up the cause of the monkeys.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's like the thing. That's why she's a hero. It's because the flying monkeys. Remember them from?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did a dwarf really hang himself in that movie? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking
And
about.
can you see it in the movie?
Yeah,
He would know.
I answered that question back in high school. Big screen TV.
Did you really?
Yeah, no, it's just a bird. It's weird.
It's just a bird?
It's like what's a bird with a long neck? I don't know, like a flamingo. It's like a flamingo or something. And it just does this, but it's weird because of the way the light reflects off of it as it's going up. It almost looks like somebody's actually swinging in the reverse direction.
Have you ever done the Pink Floyd thing?
Can you really do the Pink Floyd?
Have you? Do you know about the Pink Floyd?
I've heard. Yeah, I've heard of it. Never
I
done
have
it.
it right here. Not that we're gonna play this right now, but
Why would you have that right there?
Why would I not?
Going on Connor's podcast, what do I need?
All right.
I need the full Wizard of Oz synced with Dark Side of the Moon.
All right, we're gonna get sued by MGM and Pink Floyd.
We
'Cause it's
did not
amazing.
plan this. I got it right here. I had no idea. Did we have any plan of going?
No,
to the Wizard
not
of
at
Oz?
all.
We had no plan on this show.
No, I didn't.
I don't know why anyone would want
I
to
would've
watch
brought
this show, by
Goldfish.
the way.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably going to get canceled.
Yeah.
It's probably taken down.
I told a lot of people, like, so what are you doing on Monday? Well, I'm doing a podcast with my brothers. What are you talking about? I have no idea.
Let's
They're
not pretend we
like,
would
they're
ever
like, that's
monetize
awesome.
this.
That's awesome. I'm like, why is that awesome?
Let's not pretend we would ever monetize this. Yeah. You can put it up, Nicholas. We'll just get sued later.
I fly because she's walking up there.
If you ride the tide. Yeah. Balanced on the biggest wave. You race towards an early grave.
When it picks up the pace. Oh, he really gets faster because he's running.
Do the tornado.
The whole thing is like this. Yeah.
Isn't that a big one? Right?
Yeah. Anything with the tornado, like the song that plays during the tornado is called "Great Gig in the Sky."
I
The
really
song,
need to watch
the song
this.
that plays
Like,
when the scarecrow is introduced is called "Brain Damage." I mean,
he has no brain.
yeah,
It's crazy.
It's full of that stuff.
They say they had no idea.
Yeah, this is calm, but again, it's got this like kind of.
That's wild.
Yeah, that matches perfectly, actually.
I'll show you a second. This is cool. So this you can actually play the album through one whole time, and then if you just set it to loop, there are synchronicities again the second time through the album. So the second time through the album, one of my favorite ones. This was the first time I did this, and I was kind of like shocked that.
I still can't believe you had this
Why
ready
would I
to
not?
play.
Yeah, why did he know that?
That's
By the way, but did
right here,
can the audience hear it when you play it? When you're playing the audio?
Mhm.
Okay.
well
Yeah.
enough.
All right.
So this is like the part where they take out the guards and they steal their clothes, right?
Yeah.
So the line here is, you raise the blade and make the change,
Are you serious?
and it's exactly. So this is the second time through the album. So not every line is matching everything that happens, but the timing of this is crazy. So I've always said, you raise the blade and make the change as right as that happens. The second time through the album, so that's one of my favorite ones. But
That's
if
wild.
this isn't, they all said this was unintentional. They never did this. They didn't even have the technology in the studio to do it. All the Pink Floyd guys and Alan Parsons, their producer, they all said it was impossible. So if that's the case, then we live in a simulation, and this is just the code, like being repeated.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
Wizard of Oz in 1930, whatever, and
Yeah.
then just in the 1973, it just repeated the same code with Pink Floyd in music form, and we get this. We
Wow.
get Dark Side of the Rainbow.
I love those things that are crazy coincidental.
Thanks, Nicholas. You can
There
cut
was
that out.
like a baseball play recently. You remember that? Did you send it to me?
Oh yeah.
There was a baseball play that happened, and it was the exact same play in the exact same game in the opposite inning or something. It was bizarre. It was like off the third
It was
baseman, caught by the shortstop, thrown out at first. Same pitch count, same mile per hour
Same
pitch.
game, but each team did the exact same thing. You overlay like the bird's eye view of these two plays.
It's like
and, like,
double A, right?
No, that was MLB, I think.
really?
That one was MLB. But you overlay the bird's eye view of the field with separate parts of the game, one team for one play, the other team for the other play, same pitch count and all that stuff, and the ball gets hit exactly the same way. They're overlaid on top of each other. You almost can't tell that it's two separate clips because the ball is in the exact same spot for the duration of the
crazy.
entire clip, all the way to the fence, and then the fielder fields it the exact same way as the other team did. It's a glitch. It's like deja vu in the same game as the thing that happened, 30 minutes earlier.
Well, the craziest example of this that I've heard of recently is about the Charlie Kirk assassination in the movie Snake Eyes.
Now we're definitely getting deep.
Now we're getting-
Snake Eyes, he was G.I. Joe.
Oh yeah.
No. This is Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage,
This
the
is
greatest
Nicolas Cage.
American film actor.
Oh, I haven't
of all
seen
time.
anything since G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
The
So-
cartoon.
Snake Eyes was
Not
great.
the
Yeah,
cartoon.
The cartoon.
Yeah.
There's movies.
There are movies.
Yeah, well, this movie is
Probably
not
hate that.
have anything to do with G.I. Joe. Okay, this is a murder mystery taking place in a hotel in Atlantic City. Can you pull up like the cover art or something?
Yeah.
But so it's a boxing match in this hotel. It's actually the Trump Hotel, ironically. The boxing match is between one guy and Tyler the Executioner, which was the name of the guy
Here
who.
we go, Connor.
Tyler doesn't sound like an executioner.
There you go. Tyler the Executioner. The boxing match is happening. During this fight in the movie, the Secretary of State gets shot and is murdered. And the whole movie is a whodunit. Okay, they lock down the hotel and everything like that.
Kicks off the whole.
That's how it kicks off the whole thing. The name of the Secretary of State in the movie is Charlie Kirkland. He gets shot in the left side of the neck. And this is the craziest thing in my mind. The fight, the day the movie takes place is September 10th, which is the day
Same day.
Charlie Kirk got shot. It was like bizarre. Charlie Kirkland shot in the left side of the neck, okay, in the Trump Hotel on September 10th. Tyler the Executioner is the main boxer in it.
What's the name of the executioner?
Tyler Robinson,
Are you
the
serious?
Tyler
assassin.
Robinson, yeah. It's weird.
Oh gosh,
The alleged assassin.
alleged assassin.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he
And
probably
he
does.
has his partner is a furry transgender. I'm confused on all that.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Well, we live in a time of just complete skepticism. Anything can happen, and like no one's going to believe it, no matter what. Which is a shame because sometimes the story is right. I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but you don't know what's right and wrong these days. You just can't possibly trust anything.
So I was texting you guys about that 3-eye Atlas thing. I was saying that it broke up into 16 pieces.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't read. The
Well,
text.
it didn't. And it's because I was assembling furniture in my house after this big water disaster from the shower pan breaking and destroying all my bathroom and closet and everything. So I was not watching this YouTube video. I was just listening to it and, building furniture. And so I didn't catch it that this YouTube channel was completely AI produced. And so it was imitating, recreating this Harvard former chair of the astrophysics department, Avi Loeb. You might have seen him on TV. He does interviews and stuff a lot. Recreated, of course, his home office and his face and his voice. And he has a distinct accent.
It's like a deep fake.
Totally. Yeah. And it fooled me. I was listening to it for like 15 or 20 minutes, and it was conflating stupid stuff from another comet that did break up into pieces, saying that this interesting one, this interstellar object, 3I Atlas, had broken up. And I believed it until I checked it out again later, and I was like, wait a minute.
What happens?
Avi Loeb doesn't have a YouTube channel, even though the YouTube channel says Dr. Avi Loeb. It looks like it's him. It sounds like it's him.
But can we go back and explain what the hell this thing is? What were you going to say, Brian?
I was going to say what happens when Kim Jong-un or someone deep fakes Kim Jong-un saying, I just launched a nuke toward LA. I read this book called...
I think we're already past the point of
Did you just give some crazy person that idea?
Maybe.
We're really getting demonetized.
But no one that listens to the show is crazy. They're all very even-keeled, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yes. But seriously, I heard that you only have the American president only has 7 minutes to decide whether or not to launch a counterattack.
The thing about that, it takes at least a minute or something to get a hold of him.
Imagine waking Joe Biden up at 2 a.m.
It takes him 7 minutes to sit up.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, imagine like you have to decode whether or not this is a deep fake.
Well, would they even talk to Joe Biden when he was in office?
Could they? Yeah,
I mean, they probably wouldn't even
Probably
talk
not.
about it. He's probably on drugs to sleep and stuff.
Yeah,
They probably just make the decision.
Auto pen the nuclear response.
What is Atlas? We talked about this a little bit the other day,
right?
and I was like, all right, I want like
is it Atlas 3I? Is that
It's 3I Atlas.
what the hell does that mean?
So it's the third interstellar object entering our solar system that's been detected, and Atlas is the observatory that discovered it. So 3I Atlas. The first one was like 6 years ago, so you call it 1I Oumuamua because it was discovered in Hawaii, I think, and Oumuamua is a Hawaiian word for like strange visitors, I think. I'm probably messing that up. All of your astrophysicist followers, Conor, are going to be very upset with me butchering this.
Okay.
The second one was 2I Borisov a few years ago, and
That's my favorite.
that's isn't that everybody's?
Yeah,
I know.
Isn't that from Russia?
3I Atlas is just a poser.
Yeah, just take the name and try to see who, like, try to figure out. Abu Abua, definitely Hawaii, right?
Yeah, great.
What was the second one?
Borisov, yeah.
Definitely Russia.
And then 3I Atlas.
Atlas was
He's Greek.
Greece, yeah. That's
Tulsa,
Greece.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. So it's the third one that we've detected, and it's just got some interesting things. So full disclaimer, again, for all your astrophysicist listeners who are going to say that I shouldn't even entertain these interesting anomalies that this thing presents. But it's probably a natural object coming from outside our solar system. And,
You're just saying that because you're on the air.
No, I mean, I'd put probability on it. I don't really have a belief of whether it is one thing or another. I just think probability is, it's just something weird we've never seen before. It's only the third one we've ever detected. But that being said, the mainstream scientists are calling it a comet, and it doesn't really act like most comets. At least when you combine all the anomalies together, you're like, we've never seen anything like this before. So,
But whatever the scientists say, I will definitely believe them.
Yeah.
Because they are very honest.
Trust the experts.
They are
Trust
very
the
honest.
experts.
Trust the
Trust the
experts.
experts.
That's my mantra.
That's
Mantra
the
of
one
life.
thing we learned.
If it's
from
mainstream, it's true.
Right.
That's the one thing we learned from COVID, I think, was trust all of the experts,
Yes.
no matter what they say.
No matter what they say.
You know?
Yeah. Let's just hit every possible buzzword to get suppressed and demonetized.
There's a lot of other
There's a lot.
words.
Brian had
Like
we all
three
said-
words go through.
Yeah,
Brian has
don't
a
say that, don't
cue.
say that, don't say that.
A cue in his head. There you go. Cut that.
I have to tell this quick anecdote, okay?
Hey guys, real quick, we noticed 80% of you that watch the episodes are not subscribed. So please do me the favor and subscribe and hit the bell for notification. That helps you get the content, but it also helps this amazing stuff get spread to other people just like you. Thanks for your help. Now let's dive back in.
On that, so Connor and I went up to St. Meinrad, right? Weren't we in St. Myron's?
Yeah,
We might not be
St.
able to.
Myron's Abbey.
Yeah, we might not be able to, whatever. But we
Arch
were
Abbey,
trying
isn't it?
to, remember we were trying to acquire something from them? Like they
Yes.
had a little printing house.
Yes.
And so we were up there and we're like doing all this business models and all these acquisition sheets and stuff. Like, but we have to get the abbot to sign off on it because it's of the monastery, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I forget the name of the abbot up there, but he was a great man, obviously, very holy, but he had this really German name. You remember this guy? And I was so nervous going into this meeting, so nervous. And so I just told Conor, I said, don't mention the Holocaust. Don't mention the Holocaust. Don't mention the Holocaust. We did not get it. We didn't get it, but we tried. So, yeah.
Is that what you think when you're going in to meet a German?
Don't mention
just
the Holocaust.
don't mention the Holocaust. Okay. You think the same thing if you're meeting a Jew?
No, they like it when I mention that.
Okay.
I just saw this old like news blooper on YouTube from like 15 years ago, and there's this news anchor woman next to the guy, and she's introducing the next piece they're going to cut away to, and I forget what it is, but it's like some guy who broke a record. You know, he's like, and down the street we had so and so who for the very first time did this, and what makes this story interesting is he's gay. I mean, he's blind.
That's the greatest Freudian slip ever. It doesn't even rhyme.
It was awesome.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh,
I have to find it again, but
he's gay. I mean, he's blind.
Local news is where it's at, guys. We need to bring it back.
dude, news bloopers, like
Oh gosh.
They make-
if I need to get out of the doghouse, I just put on news bloopers with Eliana and just laugh for 20 minutes
gosh.
and everything's
Have
good
you-
again.
I was with a priest the other day at lunch who will remain nameless,
Okay.
and somehow or another that the Chinese plane crash.
Bang, dang, ow.
Oh,
like,
man,
have
I
you
forgot
seen
about
this?
that.
So I was like, I can't show a priest this in the middle of famous toastery, but when we get back out to the car, I'll show you this thing. And I had him in stitches, man. That was
Yeah,
I think it was an
There was
intern.
an intern who did it. Yeah,
Well,
legend.
because
Oh
of
my
some
gosh.
crassness, we will spare the
Yeah, I guess we
viewer
could tell
here.
people who are
But
like,
just
"What are you talking about?" Like, you would just if you just YouTube
bang,
Asian-
dang, ow.
"bang ding ow"
Yeah.
and like Chinese plane crash,
Asiana flight. I don't know the
whatever.
number.
Yeah.
Oh gosh! And he dubbed in fake names, and
amazing.
it tells a little story.
It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
That
I
is-
want to meet that guy.
We too low.
Yeah.
Something Wong.
That's what it is. It's like,
Something
we
Wong.
have
These were the names.
the names of the pilots. Some Ding Wong. We Too Woe.
Bang, ding.
Well, maybe
ow.
we can bleep this if we want. We can bleep it if we want, but it's start holy fook.
Holy Fook.
Holy fook.
It says
We
that's
Too
one of
Low.
the pilots' name is Holy Fook. Oh gosh.
Man.
I
Dude,
love
some
it.
people are hilarious.
Some people are absolutely hilarious.
What is that guy doing now? He's probably an accountant or
Yeah, you
something.
probably. Yeah.
But he should be a stand-up.
So, Three Eye Atlas.
Yeah, can we
broke up-
please talk about
Oh,
this
yeah.
comet that's not a comet, that you're pretty sure is a natural phenomenon?
Yeah. Just allow me to repeat.
It
the
looks like a
disclaimer.
giant pickle floating in outer space, by the way.
It might be a Massey
What?
Day. It might.
What pictures are you looking at?
It does. Pull it up. Pull it up. Yeah, it
I
looks
think
like a
it's
huge
a.
pickle.
I think it's a Massey Day parade balloon that was let go. That's what I think.
Or a bratwurst.
Man.
I mean, I don't know which one you want.
I don't know what pictures you're looking at.
No, seriously, where's the picture of it?
This interstellar
know.
pickle.
Oh man.
All right, I don't know.
It's just a blob. Yeah, there it is.
There's
Look at this
here,
pickle.
here, Nicholas.
Yeah, go ahead. Put that. There it is. The pickle.
No, not that. That doesn't look like a pickle.
Yeah, kosher. Dill.
This was another picture. That's
Oh, come on. Where's the other ones that you see there? Right there.
That
Oh.
okay, so
That looks. What's
This has-
on that?
there's like horses riding on it. What is that?
what is that?
Connor would be
UFO
fooled by.
secret. There's horses on the giant.
Connor would be fooled by a deep fake immediately.
Immediately. Yeah.
Oh man. So
Okay.
yeah, apparently I am, because I watched these videos.
Well, you don't know
and,
what's
like,
real
I can't believe
anymore.
this happened.
That's crazy.
All right.
And then my
well,
teenagers are like, "Dad, that's fake." I'm like, "How can you tell?
Yeah, it's tough.
You're not showing the ones that really look like a pickle.
I don't know of any that look like a pickle.
Pull up the other images of the thing. Go back to images.
All right.
I love how you actually search images.google
Why not just go to the?
No, the ones that are like,
link.
see,
That one's
there.
green.
You see, that's what I'm talking about. There's all kinds of
That
ones
looks-
like that.
Very real.
That looks like a pickle.
Exactly. I didn't make it up. Okay.
Nope, somebody else did.
Because
You see that one? That's what I'm thinking of right there.
Okay.
I've seen that 100 times.
That's a real photograph of it. For sure.
Roll your cameras.
To
Sorry,
be fair,
are you going to explain what this is?
Oumuamua definitely had a long, elongated shape like that, so that kind of looked like it. But
All right, so why is this interesting to people?
for a few reasons. Obviously, it's an interstellar object, like I said, but it was approaching. If you know our solar system, it's on a plane, right? It's not like, you know, with an atom, all the electrons can kind of rotate in a three-dimensional cloud any direction around an atom. But our sun is the center, and all the planets go kind of in like circular orbits, elliptical orbits around the sun, but it's a flat plane.
It's a nice conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
but yeah, go ahead.
So like if you imagine all that on a flat plane, this interstellar object, which could be coming from any direction possible, is not. It's actually coming in like on the same plane, the same level as our solar system, which is difficult. You know, it's a very small percentage likelihood of that given all
Because it would be coming in at an angle
Yeah,
versus
out of a-
coming on.
out of 360-degree angle possibility, it's coming in like through a little 5-degree window.
Right.
On the same plane as all of our planets, which gives it the opportunity to fly closely by multiple planets in the solar system.
As opposed to just like coming through the top and right through the bottom.
Yeah, if it just went straight through,
I
top
see.
to bottom,
Right.
then it would maybe fly by one planet. It's not going to fly by multiple.
Okay, so because it's on the same plane, it's crossing a whole lot more stuff on that plane.
yes,
Okay.
and it got significant flybys with Mars and with Venus and Jupiter.
Does it gather speed by passing planets?
Only if it gets close enough. Yeah, I mean, technically, we are impacted by the mass and gravity of Jupiter here on Earth, but it's very minimal. So mostly you have to get pretty close. But that actually is one of the interesting anomalies. Is, you know, again, mainstream scientists will tell you that even though it's not what would be predicted to happen, they can explain why. Even though when 3i Atlas passed by the sun, it was predicted to follow a certain trajectory to pick up speed from the gravity of the sun, a gravity assist, and kind of route the trajectory, the projected trajectory a certain direction. But it actually picked up more speed than they predicted, and so it's kind of off course already. And so suspicious people look at it and say maybe it was performing maneuvers when it was passing around the sun, when it was out of sight from us. On Earth, you know, something that they thought would potentially happen if it was an artificial object, right? So this thing's almost certainly natural, okay? But that's one of the anomalies that's interesting. Is it changed direction and velocity more than predicted when it passed around the sun?
So is it just come down to this? Is it either alien made or our understanding of gravity is not accurate?
Yeah, well, I think you can say our understanding of gravity is not complete, you know.
And wouldn't this give insight into
Yeah, hopefully.
what's
Exactly.
different
Yeah.
about it, right?
Exactly. So assuming this is a natural object, it is still fascinating because it can help us learn both about gravity, sure, perhaps, but also this thing is certainly ancient, if that's the case. So we can learn a lot about the early universe.
How big is this thing?
It's debated about how big it is. I think the most recent estimates and calculations are saying about a kilometer across, which is pretty big. It's, you know, still like a planet killer type of
That's
rock.
Like wide, you mean?
Yeah.
A mile or a kilometer,
kilometer
wide?
across, but some estimates go as high as 5 kilometers across, which is really big. So imagine how many miles are in a 5K? 3, 2.5.
3.1.
So imagine a
I know, 'cause I ran
3.1
one.
mile. Imagine a 3.1 mile rock crashing on to, you know,
What would
Charlotte.
it do to the planet if it hit like, you know, Montana?
I mean, for comparison, let's see how big was the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs, right? How
If you
big
believe
was
that.
If you believe it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know the word? You
I
know
think
the name of it?
Yeah.
Was the Chicxulub?
Well, the crater is called Chicxulub.
So where was that discovered? Papua New Guinea or something?
I honestly think that the damn dinosaurs were killed by the flood,
yeah,
not by a meteor.
Well, maybe the meteor caused the flood.
Okay, so this 3i Atlas is supposedly half the size
6
of
to 9
what
miles.
they.
Wow. How
what
can they know
estimated.
that?
Because of the crater that's off the coast of Mexico.
Is that the Mariana Trench?
No,
I have no idea.
no, that's in the
Where's
Pacific
that?
Ocean.
Oh,
and that's
right, yeah.
way down there.
Sure.
That's where the angler.
That's where isn't that where the
nasty
aliens live?
anglerfish.
I think
Because
so.
that's like the lowest part. They can hide down there.
Yeah, they
Or
could.
maybe humanity.
We know more about the surface of the moon and Mars than we do about the surface of the seafloor.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Just because like instruments like cave in with the pressure down there, I assume.
Yeah,
Like
it's dark.
you
It's
can't make a
extremely
submarine.
intense pressure, and we can't see it from here. So yeah, you can only send instruments down a certain level. You can do like
Have you?
So
radar type
is this
stuff,
thing getting
sonar
close to
stuff.
hitting us? And if it keeps changing directions, are we
it's not even close to
we
hitting us.
goners? No. Okay.
No. But I was joking for a while that if it
Because if we were gonna like get hit, I would have like a huge sail at tan.
yeah,
yeah.
and I would max out my credit cards. So,
I'd just
I'd probably just give everything away because, anything
Oh.
is worthless.
Like when you gave away all your things growing up
What do you mean?
at home when you were in like middle school, you gave away all your furniture.
Yeah, and I remember having a conversation with you. He's like, "It's not your stuff.
Yeah,
You
Brian's
can't
like,
give your bed away, Mom."
how
and
old
Dad
were you
own
when
it."
you did that? 12.
No, I was in 8th grade, so it would have been 14,
So-
13.
Okay, well,
I don't know.
you were 14 in 8th grade.
I
Maybe
gave
maybe that's
away
normal
all
to you.
of my
normal?
possessions, which were mom and dad.
All of your furniture.
I had
You kept
I
one
had
thing.
nothing. I had a mattress on my floor.
You kept one
a
other
year.
thing. You
What was
kept
that?
a laptop.
I kept the laptop. Yes, but
Mom and Dad were like, "You're giving away all of our stuff."
well, they didn't actually let
They
me give
wanted
it
to
away.
support you.
They let me put it in the garage, and I
Okay,
just
that
would
was-
go back and get it,
was
or
great.
I went to Goodwill or something, But hey, I was feeling very charitable.
That was good.
You
You
know?
were inspired.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of, okay, so have you heard of this ancient civilization theory with what's that guy's
Graham
name?
Hancock. Yeah,
I actually
Hancock
do. That's like
Apocalypse,
one
yeah.
thing I know because it's amazing.
But
It's fascinating. I
It
watched
is
his,
fascinating.
I watched his whole 8-part whatever documentary series.
so like
Yeah.
the Amazon,
They have a
like about
second
the
season now,
LiDAR stuff on the Amazon where there's like
Dude, there was a city.
highways. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's unbelievable.
Amazing.
Unbelievable stuff.
And so if that was
See, but this is how
happening-
dumb we are. Like we just think, oh, well, there's trees there,
Mhm.
so it must have always been there.
Yeah.
Or we look at the Sahara Desert
Yeah.
and we say, well, it's a desert now, so it must have always been a desert.
Yeah.
When,
What
by the
was
way,
it?
that's fascinating.
We
is
know
the,
that it used to be very lush.
the lost city of Atlantis is in the damn desert.
The,
Oh, really?
the Rishat Circle, the
Yes.
Eye of the Sahara. Yeah,
Dude, that's
my
real.
favorite Atlantis.
This is real.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
well, you know the writings
Google
of Plato
that.
and everything. Yeah,
So I mean, yes, I mean Plato and many other people talked about the lost city of Atlantis. People have been looking for it off the coast of Greece, which why? I mean, that doesn't. It's not like they just stayed in Greece,
here you go, Nicholas. You can pull this up.
but they found it.
So
It's-
you go. You
Whoa.
know.
No, I don't know.
Greek writings and stuff. You should explain.
I don't. But it was clearly a city that had advanced technology, advanced arts and beauty, and all these things. And Plato describes it as inner circles, like what's the word?
Yeah, concentric rings.
Concentric rings.
Yeah,
And they found this bizarre thing.
Yeah.
I think it's like at the bottom of the Sahara Desert, right?
I think it's just pretty far west.
West. Okay, it's
Yeah.
near a body of water, right? Where is it on the map? Can you pull it?
I mean, it's not really all that close, but when you look at the ancient apocalypse theory and the disaster, the flood.
Why can't we just talk about the flood? Like the flood rearranged the
Everything.
planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And
Oh.
so what was underwater before could be above water now. I mean, it was just so easy. Yeah, okay, there you go.
So it's here. So this is Morocco up here, which
Yeah, I
is
was
the
about
north.
to ask what country that is.
Excuse me, the northwestern corner here. That's Morocco.
You've been there, haven't you?
I have, yeah. Actually, it was awesome. But what's interesting is like Plato's description of the concentric rings. That's one thing, but also he describes there was like a ridge of mountains to the northern side, which there are here. You can actually kind of see it that way. If you go back to some of the pictures I was looking at before, I'll just go. Nah, whatever.
I mean, this has to have been man-made. It's too designed,
In between these ridges here that are like the concentric rings, I don't know who marked this up with all these arrows. It's great. There's a fine layer of white mineral deposits between the rings, which is actually, they've checked it out, and it's salt. So there's a layer of salt between these rings, which when you look at the other geographical features around it, it looks like a huge flood, to your point, Connor, a huge disaster, natural deluge flooded across all of northern Africa, really, from the Egyptian side all the way over here to the Moroccan side, and washed away this. And if it was salt water washing across because of, ocean water coming through, then it would leave salt deposits behind.
Do you know if archaeologists have gone there and dug around and looked for stone?
I mean, some have, but I don't know. I think it's in a country that's maybe a little difficult to do that with. I forget what country it's in, honestly. So, not sure. I know there are some people who have visited it, but it's out there. It's like kind of not near anything, right? Because it is in the Sahara. It's far away from cities and civilization. So
it's fascinating. How do you think the pyramids were made? Just a bunch of slave labor? Or like, did they have like technology or dinosaurs pulling stone up or what? Like,
all right. So the most compelling thing closely related to that subject, maybe you can Google this. It's the further back in the Egyptian dynasties you go, the better the artwork and the engineering is. So what's that famous face, stone face that it's perfectly symmetrical?
Some of the Sphinx?
No, it's just like a statue. If you Google like I don't know, perfect symmetrical left and right side of the face are identical, and it's an ancient Egyptian face. I don't know what else to call it. The typical face with the headdress and everything.
I found a Reddit link, so that
like
must be
the
perfect.
tomb of.
Okay, so here we go. Look at this. This is amazing.
We'll do this one 'cause it's easier to see.
So right here, this was one of these early dynasty things, right? So I mean, any pharaoh stuff is like
crazy.
too far back for us to understand how they did it. But
Ramses II.
This was early, but here's the amazing thing: it's perfectly symmetrical. So you can see the distance from the center of the nose to the side of the face. It's a perfect clone. Left and right is a perfect clone. Here's the thing. They didn't even have chisels narrow enough to pull that off, right? So you can't be that precise without laser technology or something similar like that. The difference to get something to like 0.01% the same in terms of measurements. Are we talking about centimeters, millimeters? It's millimeters, right? We're talking about millimeters. So to have something to over and over and over again, the whole side of the face, perfectly cloned down to the millimeter, they can't do that with hammer and chisel.
No,
it's not possible. We can't.
It's like drawing a perfect circle. You can't draw.
You can't draw a perfect circle with just a pencil. You can't do it, and you can't do that with hammer and chisel. The edge of the chisel. You can't make it like that. You have to have something that we don't understand. So you don't even have to look at the pyramids. You can just look at that. That alone, and apparently, I mean, and it goes beyond just those measurements. You start seeing these circles and stuff. Like everything on this is perfectly symmetrical. Maybe that's a different one. I don't know.
That's wild.
But it's incredible. And so, I believe that goes back to the flood theory, right? I mean, I believe Adam and Eve were essentially perfect beings who sinned. And ever since then, there's been a devolution. And Old Testament talks about certain people living 900 years, and we think that's all symbolic. Maybe it's symbolic, maybe not. Maybe there was something where, first of all, the flood had not happened yet. And so they were not necessarily, the environment radically changed. We probably have a terribly more toxic environment and with viruses and diseases and everything post-flood. Because again, we have to think about the flood as it's the punishment for sin. Like we know that this punishment of sin is death, sickness, death. It wasn't supposed to happen, but the earth got its own punishment with just this massive flood. And so, the environment changed so much to where Noah lived a long time, but then the lifetimes start dropping off radically after that. So Noah's kids maybe had more exposure to the bad environment, and then his grandkids and great-grandkids, all the way down to where now we live, 80 years. What the hell was my point in all that?
Well,
devolution. So like,
Evolution of
so I
technology,
think that the
knowledge as well.
technology that we may have had pre-flood maybe was just incredibly. I mean, how did he build the ark? I mean, maybe it wasn't just with tools that we think of. Like he had a bunch of saws out there. I mean, he might have had something very different. And I have no problem like if the body is devolving, which I think it is, and I think even genetically we're seeing that every time we reproduce, we're a little bit more of a mutant, and genetically we're just kind of devolving. We're getting further and further away from our original source, Adam and Eve. We could be getting dumber, not smarter. We have technology, which is supporting, kind of like propping us up. I mean, think about it. These early saints, they all like memorized the Bible. I mean, quickly, their memories were incredible, and our technology is making us dumb. Like when I was in high school, how many phone numbers did I have memorized? I don't know, like 50, 75, like I don't know, a ton. Now I can't tell you any phone numbers.
Your own.
Yeah. So I think that we're devolving. And so to think about how were the pyramids built, I don't have to go to alien theories. I don't have to go to weird stuff like that. I can just think clearly just by this face alone, and not just the pyramids, all the other massive structures all over the world that
all the
Graham
megalithic
Hancock
stuff,
documentary tries to show. We have lost technology. And I think after the flood, we got really dumb. We got really sick. And our technology vanished. Our knowledge of all that stuff vanished. And so the internal combustible engine was created, and everything is kind of, just following that. We've been humming along so slowly. We think about technology going so fast, but it's really not, unless we have, incredible technology that explains all of these aerial phenomenon that we can't explain, and the government wants to suppress that knowledge. Like maybe Tesla or other people have had enormous technological, innovations, but to protect the energy sector so that BP still has something to sell, they suppress that. And I do know that there is a federal law that says the government can seize your patents and force you into silence if you create anything that is a threat to national security.
Oh, goodness.
So a lot of people create things.
Eminent domain, basically.
And it's like an eminent domain over your intellectual property. And not only that, not only can they come and seize your patent, and they scour the patent records, and as soon as they get something that they really like, I think they take it. And then they can go to you and say, you're not allowed to tell anybody we took it. And if you do tell anybody you take, you're going to prison. And I think that legislation's out there. I mean, I think I've seen many reports on that and experts talk on that. I've never read the legislation myself, but I have no problem believing that that's there. So we may have had massive technological innovations in the last 100 years, and the government seized it. And because, like, if we had a pill tomorrow that cured cancer, do you think that the healthcare industry is going to release that?
No.
Right.
They make fortunes treating you slowly. They don't want to cure these things. They don't want. If we had a source of energy, like maybe the Tic Tac and many other UFO type things have, where you're bending gravity or something and able to fly at the speed of a bullet and change directions without any known propulsion system, which we have on radar and countless extraordinarily competent and credible pilots attest to under oath. If that technology is out there, it doesn't have to be from another planet. It could be us. It could have been any number of people, but the government doesn't want to release it because it's going to upend an entire industry which produces billionaires and trillionaires. And I think the deep state and the deep big business is so intertwined, probably all connected by Epstein.
How long did it take? We said 53 minutes before Epstein
It's
came
so
in.
deep that they don't want these things to be known. So that's a long-winded way of saying the pyramids, I have no problem believing those people are way smarter than us. We're dumb, and our innovations now are keeping us, the government is preventing the innovations from becoming known So we're staying dumb, so we become continually dependent on the government. There you go. There's my world philosophy in a nutshell.
I won't go down the UFO rabbit hole because that could go for hours, right?
Yeah.
But you did mention the Tic Tacs. There was a new documentary that came out just in the last week called The Age of Disclosure. It was a hotly anticipated one. It's got 30 plus military and government witnesses commenting on all of the UFO stuff over the years and the legacy retrieval program, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the point is they actually mentioned specifically the threat to national security, giving the government complete carte blanche authority to take possession of whatever they want. But they also said, they took it to the next step, said it also, if it's a threat to national security, they can and have used deadly force to prevent information on this topic from getting out there because of how it would shake up the economic markets and everything like that, So
I bet a lot of these people who have created incredible things
have been silenced.
End up committing suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With 4 bullets to the back of the head.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's interesting.
Why'd you pull up this wall with
just megalithic structures. You were
golf
talking
course.
about, I don't know exactly how tall a person is relative to these rocks, but look at this big one right here. It's like twice as tall as a regular person. And you said they had some different technologies. Sure, I agree. They had to have had more in order to build these things because we can't do it today, not to the precision that they've done here. Look at how well all these stones fit with each other. They're not manufactured bricks. These are natural stones that have been carved in many cases into right angles in ways that are difficult to do today. And, at the time with the tools they had, should be extremely difficult or impossible. But
that's why I find this stuff fascinating. It's not that I think aliens did this stuff. It's not that. It's that there was. I want an explanation for why we can't understand what ancient people did.
I've got one.
All right.
There were giants in those days.
Well, the Nephilim is in the Bible.
It's in the Bible.
Have you seen that TV show House of David?
I saw the first episode.
You gotta watch
just the first episode.
It's so cool.
What do you mean? Like what?
All right, so it's a TV
Amazon
show,
Prime show.
Amazon,
Yeah.
and now Wonder Project or whatever did season 2, but it's about the shepherd boy David who kills Goliath. But the Nephilim play a very prominent role in that. Yeah, it's awesome. And how they forged their weapons and their mother who produced these things. It's creative license.
Yeah.
I know, but I love that whole TV show.
Yeah. Well, global disaster, just like every major civilization around the world has their flood myth, we'll say, right? Their flood story. They also have giants. All of them do.
And they also all have dragons.
They also have dragons.
Which are dinosaurs.
Yes.
It's very clear to me. St. George probably went and fought a dinosaur.
So did we just figure out how they made the pyramids with giants and
Oh, I don't know. I
dragons?
think that could have been part of it. I think it changes all of the math.
Giants had tamed dinosaurs.
I guess so.
And they used them like we use elephants.
That's a new theory I hadn't heard before.
Yeah.
Sounds like
You heard it here first, folks.
There it
Going
is.
viral.
Giants tamed dinosaurs.
Nephilim and
and
dragons.
built the pyramids.
Make sure to lock up that hashtag. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Is that the name of the show?
It's not the Gallagher brothers. It's the Giants tamed
What
dinosaurs.
the other one? What we were talking about before? But ninjas are butterflies.
Ninjas, that's a good show for people who are interested.
Ninjas are butterflies.
Yeah,
What?
it's I don't know where it actually comes from, but these guys.
I love those guys.
They're funny. They're fun. They're Christian. I don't know if they're Catholic.
They bring a bunch of Catholic mysticism
They
stuff.
do, and they had a Padre Pio book on their table in one of the episodes I was looking at. So I don't know if
They're one. I think there's Christian
Okay,
guys that
Catholic or
are
not.
they're just begging to convert.
Yeah, but they're fun. So Ninjas Are Butterflies was their show name. Now their channel is Sunday Cool Teas.
So what would ours be?
They're fun.
Nephilim.
Giants Tame Dinosaurs.
Giants
tamed
dinosaurs.
dinosaurs.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
At the
New
Massey
show
Day
name.
Parade.
At the Massey Day.
Okay, so I've just been sitting here thinking, the devolution, is it devolution or de-evolution?
Sure. Both.
I don't know.
It's not
It's
a
called
word. It's not a
devolution.
word, so just use whichever one.
Well,
you
okay, so I tend to agree, except I feel like we're evolving physically, and maybe that's wrong. Maybe these guys were awesome back in the day, but every year there's a sports stat that gets broken, and maybe it's training, whatever. But swimming, for instance, people swim faster today than they did 50, 100 years ago.
But they didn't try.
Well,
And we're bigger. We eat meat. Like
Yeah.
on that note, like you can see the impact of meat on the human body by seeing the last generation that lived in England before they immigrated to the United States, and like the first generation of Americans that grew up here are like
Nutrition.
4 inches taller.
Yeah.
I mean, like in one generation, it was crazy. I mean,
That's gotta be
George
good.
Washington, boom, 6'4",
And for
and
me,
that happened a lot. And it's just because they were malnourished living in London.
Yeah.
And the second oldest son, who doesn't, inherit anything, he goes to America, and his son is 3 inches taller than him. They ate meat.
and just the
makes sense,
amount
I
of
guess.
time they have to dedicate to one discipline versus in the past,
Having to go tend the crops.
taking
and
care of your
everything in
family was
between,
more difficult than it is today.
But like, so like I know a lot about the protein impact on bodies because I lost so much weight, but maintain muscle because you don't really have to lift to maintain muscle. I mean, maybe a little, but you just have to eat a bunch of protein.
Yeah.
So, if you're, previous generations, like those slaves, they got like a loaf of bread. They didn't get meat.
Yeah.
So how are their kids going to grow and be bigger and stronger? So, and the fact that we eat so much protein as a society.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense because usually, okay, if you take sports stats, for instance, and you say, hey, why is Patrick Mahomes throwing for more yards than Joe Montana? Okay. By the way, I saw a crazy statistic, and if you actually, I sent it to you. Yeah. Tom Brady did twice of what Joe Montana
texted
did.
it to me.
Twice of it. If you take the first half of his career and the second half of his career, it matches Joe Montana's stats. It's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, but he married a witch, so
yeah. But the thing is that now the rules have changed in football to favor the quarterback, right? So now it's a 17-game season, so all these stats are like being changed by that. But then you go to something like swimming or running,
right?
It's like, well, that's really, really, and baseball too, in large measure, take the steroids out, but it's very, very apples to apples comparison. 50 years ago,
it's just a physical feat. It's not the team dynamic.
Like Eliud Kipchoge, this guy. Have you ever heard of this guy?
No.
Kipchoge. This is one of the most amazing things I've ever heard. Okay, he ran a sub 2 hour marathon.
Oh, that guy.
That guy. Yeah, 4-minute 23-second pace for 26 miles. I can't run 50 yards at that, or maybe 100 yards at that. I could probably run 100 yards at that, and that's it. But that's insane.
All right, what I don't understand, I've heard that.
Yeah.
Explain to me how he can do that pace. What did you say, 4:26?
4-minute 26-second
Okay,
pace.
he can
fact
do.
check me. It's 4:23
He can
or
do
26.
that for 26 miles. Why can't he run 1 mile in like 3.5 minutes?
Great question. Why can't he beat Usain Bolt at the 100-meter dash?
Right.
And it's the same reason Usain Bolt can't be a wide receiver in the NFL, because he can't do what he does with pads on. And I think it gets to what Kevin's saying. It's like being very, very specific in your training about like you're only mastering one thing. And as soon as you branch out of that, you break down. I find that just fascinating. And then you have the ultra marathoners too. Those people are insane. They're out there for like 3 days running in the desert.
I wrote a lot in my book, Aristotle's Kid Had an iPod. There's a lot about the Tarahumara Indians.
Yeah. Born to Run.
Right here, folks.
There you go. Yeah.
If you want to learn about the Tarahumara Indians,
there you go.
If Aristotle's Kid Had an iPod.
And then it will, I'll sell like 20 copies a year versus 12.
There you go.
Awesome.
I read it. It's actually really good.
But it's, but the Tarahumara Indians, they have races every year where it's like they go run 200 miles.
And they run barefoot. That's crazy. It's the barefoot. Like they're just fully calloused underneath, I'm sure.
And they're very content doing it. Like it's not like a big thing to them.
What was weird,
they still live in caves and stuff. I mean, they're out there still.
There's this girl that I followed on, and I actually saw her on Rogan, Courtney Dauwalter, and this was like probably 8 years ago now. She won the Moab 236-mile race, the Moab Desert in Utah, and she beat. You'd think men would be better at this than women. Okay, and I mean, I guess usually they are.
I would have no problem believing that women are better at endurance sports.
Yeah, she beat all the guys, everyone, by 12 hours. 12 hours.
Yeah, that's easy. That's actually easy for me.
It's probably pain tolerance, like genetically coded pain tolerance from like childbirth or something. I don't know. Maybe that was offensive of me saying. I don't care, but
I'm offended.
I know. You're so easily offended.
All right, we're going to go. So, Nicholas, you can put this up.
I'm a sports stat guy.
Brian's sports stats.
This is the guy who knows everything about like asteroids and comets and gravity. I know sports. Okay, so look at that. This is Tom Brady between 2000 and 2011.
Basically the first 10, 11 years of his career, and then the second 10.
No, people are listening to this, so they're not really looking. So what do you
describe it?
Okay, Tom Brady between the years of 2000 and 2011 had the same amount of passing yards, touchdowns, starts, everything as Joe Montana in his entire career.
So basically, he was running at Montana's pace and then played probably twice as long.
He like Tom Brady is double what Joe Montana was.
He had Joe Montana's career twice.
He had Joe Montana's career twice.
And look at the bottom, 3 Super Bowl rings in the first half of his career, 4 in the second. So 7 Super Bowl rings compared to Joe Montana's 4.
There was
That's insane because Joe Montana was like when you were a kid, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a quick turnaround for all of this. And
Jerry Rice, Roger Craig, that was the running back.
Yeah, it was. Here's the crazier, in my opinion, the crazier Tom Brady stat. Tom Brady is more likely to go to the Super Bowl than Steph Curry is to make a 3-pointer. So in his career, Tom Brady went to the Super Bowl like 45% of the
47, I think.
47% of the seasons he played. The Super Bowl. And Steph Curry's is 43% from 3-pointer.
Which is
amazing, which is the best of all time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. So that's Tom Brady for you. But here's the thing, I don't even think that he was the best like in terms of skill.
So you're saying he's not devolving like the rest of us?
No. Imagine if he tamed dinosaurs.
Well, I mean, he did play with Gronk, so
yeah.
No, but it's to me that's fascinating. Another, I like sports stats. I brought some. Larry Fitzgerald. Do you know this guy, Larry Fitzgerald? Yeah. He's a
Cardinals
wide receiver. You know this guy?
Oh no, I thought he's the one that wrote The Office or whatever.
No, that was no.
Is that right?
No. But Larry.
No, the guy who wrote all those funny comedy shows.
The Office
was
Larry David.
Seinfeld.
Larry David.
Larry David.
The same thing.
Yeah, The Office was created by Ricky Gervais.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
Seinfeld and Curb Enthusiasm were Larry David.
Pretty awesome.
Larry David. I thought you were talking about him.
Oh my gosh! I saw the funniest.
So much for Larry Fitzgerald. That's gone.
I have to
forget that now.
All right. So anyway,
you always talk about Larry David.
Yeah, Larry David's the greatest. And I'll share something to you that you put up. That's absolutely hilarious. So Larry Fitzgerald had more tackles in his career than drop passes. As a wide receiver, he had more tackles in his career than drop passes. He had like 6 drops and 8 tackles.
Who did he play for?
The Cardinals.
Cardinals for most of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means just when there was an interception, he was there and made the tackle.
Yeah. And more times than he dropped the ball when it was passed to him.
That's incredible. Because I've seen players have 6 drop passes in a game.
In a game.
It's amazing. If it touched his hands, he caught it. For sure.
How many times did Larry David
drop the ball? Larry David is amazing.
See, that's who you always talk about.
Two good stories.
I've never seen that Curb Your Enthusiasm show.
It's hilarious.
And I like Seinfeld. When I was teaching philosophy at Belmont Abbey, I'm not kidding. I said, I referred to the great philosopher Jerry Seinfeld, and like half the class didn't know who he was.
Yeah. Well,
like, what is going on this planet that you don't know who Jerry Seinfeld is?
Well, he has another show on Netflix I highly recommend. It's called Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. So Jerry Seinfeld just picks someone up, a comedian, in the car and goes and gets coffee. And they just talk about comedy. And it's great because they get everybody from like Dave Chappelle to...
I'd watch that.
Like
Dave
even
Chappelle
like
and Jerry Seinfeld.
Getting coffee in a car. And they're just talking.
But isn't Jerry Seinfeld a hard leftist? And
Hollywood.
And isn't Chappelle kind of...
He's right of center. He grew up in Ohio. Dave Chappelle grew up in Ohio, like the sticks of Ohio. And so I think at the end of the day, comedy is where it all meets.
Yeah.
I actually don't think that there is true comedians make fun of both sides equally, I believe.
Yeah, I think one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I don't even know. Are we allowed to talk about
Clayton Bigsby?
Yes. That's one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
You have got to see. You have got to see.
Man, I don't know. I guess we can't talk about it. We'll get canceled. But somebody can go
Dave
look
Chappelle
up. What would they
hilarious.
look up? Dave Chappelle and
Clayton Bigsby.
Clayton Bigsby.
It's the funniest skit
Oh my goodness
anybody's ever
gracious!
created.
How would you explain it without invoking
It's
YouTube
easy.
things?
It's easy.
Whatever. Dave Chappelle's a black man,
Okay.
and in the skit, he's black, right, and blind, not gay, blind. And he doesn't know that he's black, and so he grew up and joined the KKK, and nobody has the heart to tell him that he's black. It's like this really skit ever.
It's really funny.
But then eventually he finds out he's black, doesn't he?
Then he does, and he divorces his wife because she.
That's right. That's right. I forgot that. That's the best punchline of the whole.
Yes.
Okay, he
No.
divorces his wife when he finds out he's black
Yeah,
And that she loved
for
him.
loving a black guy.
Yeah. It's comedic gold.
Oh my!
It's comedic gold. There you go. I want that up on the screen.
All right.
This is
oh my
incredible.
gosh, so funny.
All right, here you go, Nicholas. You can put this up.
All right.
Whoop.
So someone sent me
Whoa,
this.
Who is that?
That's Kamala Harris's daughter.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So someone said Kamala Harris's daughter looks like all the Seinfeld characters mixed into one. Now I can't unsee it.
Wow.
So
Elaine. And
You gotta
Yeah, I
Elaine.
see the hair with
For
Elaine.
the glasses from what's that guy's? George.
George.
George's glasses. It's all the Seinfeld characters put together.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't unsee that now either.
Oh,
Wow,
Kamala.
that's cool.
Do you think she's gonna run
Thanks,
again?
No way.
Who do you think's gonna run
For what
President.
position? Yeah.
for president of the United States? Who do you think's gonna run?
I guess who's the?
Well, JD Vance is like the probably key to do it, right?
But I mean, who's the guy who's the head of the Senate for the Democrats?
Schumer? No way.
No. The other guy, Hakeem something.
Oh,
Hakeem
Hakeem
Jeffries.
Jeffries.
Yeah,
The House.
the House.
Gavin Newsom is trying to make a play.
I don't think California has a chance.
I don't think so.
I think the rest of the country looks at California and says that place sucks.
I think he
It does.
he strikes me as a Batman villain. Like if you like Gavin Newsom, the slicked hair, and what is the first thing? This is interesting. This is a good topic of
There's
conversation.
got to be so many skeletons in that guy's closet.
Oh yeah, like he actually had an affair, I think, and like left his wife for someone else, like his current wife, and then his current wife cheated on him or something. I don't know. But what was I going to say? What is the first thing Gavin Newsom did when he decided he was going to run for president?
Started a podcast.
He started a podcast.
Yeah.
And I think that that's fascinating because it's indicative, right?
Just like Conor.
Just like Conor. Conor, you're going to run for president, right?
Well, now's a good time to announce, ladies and gentlemen. Can you imagine me running for office? I mean, I couldn't win dog catcher of Lincoln County.
I voted for you for something. It was like one of those fill-ins, like city council, like, education board.
Did you really?
Yeah, I wrote you in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you got to
Thanks.
vote. I have no idea what the position was, but I didn't know the people on the ticket, so I wasn't going to vote for that person.
Did you really? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I did.
I didn't do that.
Right next to Mickey
Sorry.
Mouse. So,
That's great.
yeah.
Right next to Macy. To Mickey.
No, but what Trump did at the last election, he went on Rogan and then Theo Vaughn and all those podcasts, right? Because the podcast culture is obviously booming, and here we are living in it. But it made something an amazing shift in the world, in my opinion, and that is, you cannot fake yourself for 3 hours on a podcast.
No, you can't.
You cannot do it.
I
So-
can't even do it as a host, and I try my best, but I can't. Like if you sit here for 3 hours,
You become genuine.
You have to
originally.
be.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah. So now no one will be elected president just through the lens of clips on Fox News and CNN and debate clips, right?
Yeah.
That you have to go and let your guard down.
it's good because
It's
you're
very
always
good.
you're always wondering like, what does this person really
Really
think?
think.
And
And when Trump went on,
can you
Rogan,
imagine Hillary Clinton just talking for 3 hours? Like I can't. I
Well,
can't.
That's why Kamala didn't go on Rogan, even though Rogan asked her. But she made up something that like, oh, you have to come to me. But like, and that was just a terrible tactic because she didn't even understand the power of Rogan's audience, right?
Ron
just a whole-
DeSantis did that too during the primaries with Sean Ryan. Sean Ryan wanted him to come on the show,
yeah,
in person,
yeah.
like Vivek and others did. And DeSantis said, "Well, no, I can do a virtual thing with you for like 30 minutes," and that was it. And they did it, but then Sean Ryan decided to not even release it.
And
Because,
and maybe part
worth
do they just not understand the power of the internet compared
No,
to
they don't.
Fox News?
They don't.
I mean, seriously. I mean,
even if they understand it, I think they're just not capable of breaking out of this mold they created for themselves.
no, but I
for
think
their-
that they
for
would
their donors.
they would think
For the
that
donors,
like
yeah.
a 20-minute episode, like or segment or something, which is long, on like Fox and Friends is more powerful than being on Sean Ryan. I don't think they understand the numbers.
They don't. Well,
Well, here's
And also,
must
isn't Fox News? I mean, I'm not trying to bash Fox News, but I mean, the average viewer are you the one that told me this?
The median viewer is 70 years old.
Oh my
Median.
Median.
That's crazy.
70. And I'll box Fox News all day long. I can't stand the mainstream media.
Well,
And I think they were as complicit in everything as CNN and MSNBC. I'm against all that.
But if the median age is 70, like there's just no
Yeah,
young.
so
there's
that's why
no-
every
the
single
upper-
there's no young
commercial
people
buy
watching.
gold and invest in life insurance.
The
Every
upper
single
end
commercial's
of
that.
the upper end of that
That's
bell
good
curve
point.
is what? I mean, like
Reverse mortgages.
95. Some 95-year-olds watch it, but that means the youngest ones are 65,
Like our dad still, he's listening to this.
60 maybe.
Well, it's, I
Love
mean,
you, Dad, but he watches Fox News.
Well, he
Like I don't, I
actually-
never have it on my TV show.
no,
on my TV.
he's proud
ever.
that he's changed to
he's
what, Newsmax?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They watch TV,
Yeah, it's a totally different
and like
medium.
Yeah.
it's never that new stuff is never on
Yeah.
in my home ever.
It's
know.
not Sean Ryan, it's not Patrick Bet David or some of these
Right.
others. It's just
Yeah, I mean, my kids and I, we all sit down and watch Joe Rogan together.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You know,
Or
and
Tucker.
I was trying to listen to because one of my guests recently, Father Dan Rehill.
Yeah.
He sat right there recently, and I wanted to watch. In the car I was with Ashley, and we wanted to listen to his episode on Sean Ryan. That led me to try to listen to Tucker Carlson and Sean Ryan.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, he's a famous podcaster, but like every other word is the F-bomb, and he's not even saying anything.
Who? Rogan?
Sean Ryan.
Oh, Sean Ryan.
sometimes he does that. He doesn't do it all the time, but, yeah.
But it was just like, where's the substance of this?
he does that when he's angry about a topic, and so when it is like
I had never listened to him. I had never
Political
listened to a Sean
issues
Ryan
and-
episode in my life.
Yeah.
And I tried to listen to this because my guest, has been on his show, and then I ended up with Tucker because I like Tucker.
right.
I really like Tucker Carlson. I do.
Can I go to the bathroom?
Yes.
I'll raise my hand. Hall
Break.
pass.
Can we just
Yeah.
take a break?
That's fine.
Tan Books is here to help you become a saint. That's why we do everything we do. We publish thousands of titles, literally, that are specifically written to help you get to heaven. Everything from the lives of the saints to the writings of the saints, the greatest doctors of the church, the great spiritual masters, Alphonsus Liguori, St. Francis de Sales, and so on. So please come to tanbooks.com and find the book that God wants you to have right now so that you can get to heaven and be a saint for eternity.
Giants Tame Dinosaurs, Part 2.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah, we need to write it on there. What is the weirdest thing about having a podcast now?
The weirdest thing.
Well, like, okay, you go in with an expectation. Okay, honey, I'm going to start a podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, great. You obviously listen to Tucker Carlson, all those people, right? You go in with preconceived notions, and then you hit reality.
Yeah.
What was that? What was the big difference between what you expected and what actually was?
We're just rolling, Nicholas. You can. Thanks for bringing that back.
Thanks, man.
We just decided to start talking.
Oh, okay.
The strangest thing or the most surprising thing?
Yeah.
Which one did you ask? Strangest or most surprising?
Most surprising.
I think it's I think one of them, I don't know if it's the most, is that preparation is almost counterproductive.
Yeah. I get that.
And I've been surprised that, the more I prepare and study and read the books of the guest or do my research, then I'm a teacher by nature, and like I want to engage, and I want to say, oh, this is what I know about it, and you want to jump in and start explaining. And and Kevin and I've talked a lot about this because I just interject too much, and that's one of the complaints I get sometimes in comments. It's like, hey,
do you read?
Shut up, interview.
Yeah, shut up, interview. And
Do
I'm
you
like,
read comments?
yes, and I need to stop.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. But I mean, I started a podcast not to be an interviewer. I started a podcast to be a dialoguer.
To have conversations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why. And so I want to read up on the subject and have a conversation about the subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I have these people in the comments saying, shut up, let the guy talk. I'm like, first of all, I talked like 10% of the damn time. And you think that's too much?
Yeah.
Well,
By the way, if you don't like Conor Gallagher, don't watch the damn Conor Gallagher show.
Yeah, that's right. You heard it here first. Unsubscribe.
So unsubscribe. Damn it.
We'll send this cheap thing back. That's plastic.
So but seriously, like I'm not just like some TV interviewer that just asks like reading questions off a teleprompter.
Yeah,
you know,
you don't have to.
I mean, I know I look like an info babe, but I'm not. I'm not. So I mean, that was surprising. Is that when that doing what I initially perceived as like a good job in preparing and having the discussion about it, and they know this and I know that, and having a discussion, I get hammered for it. And so it's kind of like, well, what are you on the show for? So, but you can also appreciate that. I mean, I learn from that and say, okay, he is the world-class expert. I need to shut up and let him talk.
Right.
And so there's truth. So when I don't prepare, a couple things happen. One, I talk a whole lot less.
Yep.
And two, I'm genuinely surprised and interested. And then like then it actually becomes almost a conversation because I'm asking interesting questions and the conversation just unfolds. Whereas when I've read all the books and I have like it's separated out into, okay, there's 4 parts to this interview, and section 1, section 2, section 3. And I'm trying to do, it ends up being, I ask a question and wait for an answer. And it's not much of a dialogue. And so that's one thing is like, if preparation at a certain point becomes actually, for me, very counterproductive.
But it's interesting because some of those episodes where there were complaints about you interjecting and talking and having a conversation instead of just asking a question and shutting up, some of those same episodes, the guest, after we finished, said, "Thank you. Nobody's bothered to know my material like you have. We can have a real talk about it." They were grateful for your knowledge on the subject. You didn't just show up as a vapid, empty question.
It's true. So the guest, like we got real hard data on that. Like when the audience gets annoyed with me, the guest likes me.
Yeah.
It's like it's like 2 different things are happening.
Right.
And that's kind of an odd thing for me. The other thing that you want to know what the hardest thing is about a podcast?
Sure.
And I'm terrible at this. I mean, this is so funny, but sitting up straight for 3 hours is freaking impossible for me because my posture is so terrible. I'm like, virtually hunchback. And having to do this is so flipping hard. So when the person's talking about something I'm finding interesting, I'm sitting here thinking. The only time my mind is really wondering, because I get really interested, I'm sitting there saying, my back is killing me, my back is killing me, my back is killing me. I'm like, seriously, that's, and then I ask them a question and then they're like, well, as I just said, I'm like, oh shit, they just, I wasn't even paying attention. And it's not because I'm thinking about Tan or the wife and kids or anything. It's like, I'm thinking, my back hurts so bad. It's so hard for me to sit up straight. I mean, it sounds stupid, but I mean, this is how I want to sit, and I could sit here forever. But
I remember that being a thing, like when you were in school. Like,
it's awful.
Your whole life.
It's awful. It's awful. I've always had
scoliosis.
They talked about me being in a back brace and all this crap. And,
really?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, nonetheless,
maybe if you work out every once in a while.
I do, and it's like,
I know what I want to ask you. So I went to my happy place 2 weekends ago, which is the Renaissance Festival. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's the only place where I'm the coolest guy. So
debatable.
No, it's true. There's a thing called the dead man's hang. And
how long can you just hang from a bar?
You got to do it for 100 seconds.
I can do it. I do it all the time.
Really?
I do it all the time.
You can win $100.
It's easy. Now the way those
carnivals
and stuff.
You can't do it cross.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So no, I do it all the time. Now the question is like, what they'll do is they make it harder. They would give you a bigger bar.
Mm-hmm.
Smaller bars are easier because you get more of your grip.
Yeah.
But they give a bigger bar, and sometimes they do it, and it's actually loose in the joints, and so it kind of rotates back, and so now you're holding like this, and you can't do that.
Like a rigged Carney game.
Yeah, it's like rigged. Yeah. It's like one of those basketball goals, like nothing goes.
How many of Connor's kids can get into the Renaissance Fair for free when they have the free kids thing?
All of them.
How old are they? What's the age limit?
So, if
by the way, dead hang is like really healthy for you.
Really?
Yeah, really healthy for you.
It just opens everything up.
Opens everything up. The decompression of the spine. Most of our back issues come from compression. So it's hard, and grip strength. Of all the muscular fitness tests, feats, abilities that that correspond with longevity.
Yeah.
More than anything. It's not your squat. It's not how long you can hold a plank. It's not what you can bench. It's your grip strength.
So
Grip
if you do like
strength.
The fingertips, like the rock climbers, like free solo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you do that?
Can I hang like
from
that?
your fingertips?
I don't know.
We had this.
I don't know.
That
I do a lot.
documentary is insane.
I know
Free solo.
that is.
And the other
Oh,
ones
he
that
can
he's
do
done.
pull-ups like with his fingertips.
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
but
Danny can probably do that.
yeah,
stuff.
probably.
Yeah.
I
Some
do a
arm other brother.
lot of pull-ups. I do a lot of pull-ups.
Yeah.
And
you've
so
been
my
doing that
grip
for
strength's
how long?
not, huh?
How long you been doing that for?
No, I went through phases. I mean, I did them, you know, when I worked for the judge and got in really good shape when I was like 28. And then I didn't do crap and got super fat and didn't do anything for 15 years.
That's
and
the
then-
phase of
and then-
life I'm in.
And then
right now.
got back in shape. Once you get over 40,
Yeah.
you know, 42, 43, 40, that's when people are like, okay, I can't keep going like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my goal is to like, I still have, it's not like a goal, but it's something like you've talked about like running an ultra marathon. What I want to do is do
I've talked about it.
yeah. But like when I still think of those
It's the first step. Is
physical
talking about it.
feats.
Haven't even considered it. Just talked about
Just
it.
talked about it. Flirting with the idea.
But like when I used to think about, oh, I'd love to do an ultra marathon.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, you're like, this is bull crap. There's no way I'm going to do it. But the thing I still think about is I'm pretty sure I could do 1,000 pull-ups in 8 hours.
That's insane.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah, I really want to do that. I mean, I did 302 hours,
It's 10:30,
and it wasn't hard. It was not hard. What was hard is like my hands were ripped to shreds.
Yeah.
So I'd want gloves or something just to make it way easier, tape at least or something. And then like my
Yeah.
shoulders hurt, like the joints hurt. The next morning, my abs were on fire.
Your abs.
Yeah.
Because I guess you engage your core when you
Yeah.
do it.
I mean, whenever you if I do 150 or so pull-ups in a workout, the next morning it's what hurts is your abs. It's not your back muscles or your lats or anything like that.
Or
It's
your
abs.
scapula. I learned about that
Yeah.
one day.
So I would like to
That's
do
the
that. Maybe
muscle
that'll be
between
an
the shoulders.
episode if I train up for it.
You can do it. Do it.
I mean, there's plenty of time.
His
It's
first
just,
Conor Gallagher show live stream.
yeah, we'll go into my garage and try to see if I can put it on fast speed or whatever and see if I can get 1,000 in an hour. I just think 1,000 would be cool. And you don't want
Yeah.
to say an hour. You don't want to say 24 hours. It's way too long. So you got to condense it into something that's really challenging.
Yeah.
I have no idea how we got on that. The grip
The
strength.
Dead Man's Hang.
Dead Man Hang at the Renaissance
Yeah,
Festival.
absolutely. It's very important. Do you go to the Renaissance Festival?
I went in high school.
Well, what I was trying to figure out
It
is
hasn't changed,
what's
I
the
don't
age
think.
limit on the free kids, because I still think it's probably, even with not too expensive tickets, probably very expensive for his family.
12 and under is free with a canned good.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's pretty.
That's like 12 of your kids, right? So then
Pretty
after
good.
that, it's an adult ticket. So
Which is how much?
$30, I think, something like that. Yeah. So I took my whole family for $100.
That's awesome.
It's not bad. Beats Carowinds, you know.
Yeah.
So we saw the jousting. It was fun. There's actually something kind of funny. So Alyssa, my wife, she like can't stand this stuff, but she goes because she's a loving wife and wants to support me and my nerddom. So she goes and she has Gracie, our little newborn, and she wanted to sit outside of the shade. So at the jousting arena, there's two sides, and we're on one side and she's on the other, nursing in the shade. But I wanted to show her where I was, okay? And so I started waving at her, and then a whole bunch of people behind me started waving too. And then it grew and grew and grew.
And
And
everybody's
everyone
waving.
started yelling, "Mom, Mom!" And there's
And Alyssa nursing?
Yeah, Alyssa nursing. She's got her nursing cover on, and she's just there on the other side. And you have half the arena yelling at this one woman across the way, "Mom!" And she's like, "Hi."
That's awesome.
That's pretty funny. It's a good group of people.
Yeah, so I'm totally stuck on the question you asked me about like podcast,
Yeah.
what I like and don't, or like what was surprising. Another thing that's really surprising is there are a lot of subject matters that I love, and I haven't yet found a way to get into it in the podcast because I'm always just interviewing people. So we've talked about I need to do solo content, but there's these things like I spend most of my time thinking and studying and everything, and it's like it has no outlet. And I thought a podcast would just be like I get to talk about what I want to talk about. And that's not what happens.
Yeah.
The schedule and the guests take over. Just one other thing on that, like I'm also seeing, and I will not name names, but when you have a knowledgeable person
Yeah.
on your show,
Yeah.
that's one thing. When you have a true expert,
That knows
it's
everything.
another.
Really.
And when they're a true expert, they're like 10 times more valuable.
Yeah. Like
They're not a little bit more valuable.
Yeah,
They're
100%.
massively more valuable. So the difference in like a
100%.
master's versus a PhD, which I know that's not a good way because
Yeah.
we worship degrees and stuff, but
Yeah.
there's a difference in somebody kind of having like a shallow knowledge.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to go to 2 or 3 hours, they can't.
Most of
handle
the
it.
things
They
we've
can't
talked
do
about
it.
here are just us being knowledgeable, not experts.
Right? Yeah, we don't know anything about it.
You know,
But
But
like,
it's-
so
but a
if
true
you had
PhD
probe
Kevin
with-
talk about the Atlas thing
Yeah.
versus like somebody who got a PhD in it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's incredible how much further and deep the real expert. So I know now, like from a business side, the name of the game. It's like don't find like the famous person necessarily. It's find who is the world class expert on this
if we want to talk about publishing,
subject
we're
or
experts.
saying-
You know,
right.
we're
Yeah.
talking
What?
about
Kevin.
if we want to talk about publishing, we're experts on that. We're not
right. We're exactly
experts on anything else.
Kevin-
So like
did
with these
have,
saints, like I really want to get like world class experts on all the saints, and it's hard to find.
Yeah.
It's like who's the world class expert on Louis de Montfort? Like I don't know. I can't figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So we have to find people who really know that subject, and then it's easier for me to just get out of the way and let them go. But a lot of times, the guests are not nearly as knowledgeable as we thought they were.
Yeah.
It puts extra burden on me. Their answers are short and to the point, which is not good for podcasts.
Yeah.
So it's
We've canceled some episodes.
we've
and
canceled a
we've,
few episodes because they didn't know
and
nearly as much as we thought they
reoriented
did.
some into other topics unexpectedly. But
Yeah.
Kevin did have the Wizard of Oz queued up within a
I'm
second.
an expert on that.
We're all
That's-
experts on something.
So if 2023 was like my year of reading and listening to every audiobook I could on NASA and the space race and all that stuff, 2025 has been my listening to Pink Floyd year. Man.
Was
Pink
NASA
Floyd and David
founded
Gilmour.
by the occult?
No, it was
No.
founded by Nazis.
No, but
Project Paperclip
not even that.
or
but
Operation
it
Paperclip.
was populated
by Nazis.
by Nazis.
What's the whole occult thing?
That's Jack Parsons, and he was heavily in the occult. Yes, one guy was heavily in the occult, and there's plenty of theories about the others, taking all their cues from him, but it's kind of weak. But there was one guy who was in the early days, very early days, was heavily involved in the occult, and I'm not really an expert on that, but I do know that. For a
Well, I
fact.
mean, same thing with I watched some of these documentaries, and so is Led Zeppelin.
half the people in our building are into the occult.
Oh my gosh.
That was a joke.
It's a joke.
That was a joke. But so Led Zeppelin, what was his name? Jimmy Page
Yeah.
bought Aleister Crowley's house.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Aleister Crowley?
Aleister Crowley, whatever.
Yeah.
And then the Stairway to Heaven if you play it backwards thing, right? I don't know if that's intentional or not, but
It sounds really creepy.
it
does
sounds
sound
very,
creepy.
very creepy. Yes. But does that mean all rock music is satanic? No. There's going to be bad apples in any barrel,
Mhm.
right? I mean, that's what I think. And you just have to okay, so there was an occultist in NASA. Does that mean NASA is evil? No. It means that person was evil.
Yeah.
I mean, but some people I think just make it what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that some people just like to carte blanche, just wipe something off the map just because of individuals. And I don't think I think that's lazy.
Totally different thing. Eventually I want to get to my Augustin libido issue.
What? Wait, what?
Yeah. I want
Please.
to get to that.
Let's talk about libido.
On Augustine's libido,
Yeah.
part 3.
It's a very Augustine's
So that
libido.
whole thing was just because you wanted to get to Augustine's libido. It's I want
Yes.
to talk about what I want to talk about.
Augustine's libido
That's all the preface.
messed up biblical exegesis for 700 years.
Now that we've laid the groundwork on all those other topics,
I'll get back
to the
to
real
that.
point.
But
make a good thesis statement.
before we get to that, I'm sitting around smoking cigars with my two adult sons. Peter, today is Peter's birthday.
How old is he?
I don't.
Oh gosh.
It changes every year.
20. He's 20 because
All
we
right.
talked about he's no longer a teenager.
Oh, very good.
So he's awesome.
Peter's funny.
Peter's great.
Peter's great.
I was sitting with Peter and Patrick last night, and
Patrick's great too.
yeah, he's great. That sounded like he was leftovers. I didn't mean it like that,
Yeah.
but it's his
Yeah,
birthday.
Patrick,
It's Peter's birthday, so I'm just happy birthday, Peter. we were talking about, because Patrick, he's got a real job. He's 21. He's in school for full time. He's working for J&J Construction. He's he's a project manager. He's really managing a lot of subcontractors and stuff. So I was asking him, like, dude, are you having a problem like with your workers showing up because of the raids on immigrants?
Oh yeah,
the ICE raids.
Yeah.
And I'm curious what you guys think about. They're telling me, and I don't know anything because I live under that rock, remember? But so black vans pull up, SWAT teams are jumping out and telling everybody at the construction site, pull out your papers now. And if they can't produce it, they're hauled off. I don't know if that's true, but
there's videos out there.
It's hard to believe any headline you read.
Yeah.
And even the video clips you see, they're clipped. So you have to get the whole context of what's before or after. For example, some of the headlines are saying they pulled up and they pointed their weapons at me in my face. And you like expand the video, you find out it's like an airsoft gun, right? And it's not in their face. It's like just out, so it's not an actual
ICE
deadly
carrying
weapon.
Airsoft guns?
Yeah, they've got like the whole tank on top and everything. It's just like,
why would they carry airsoft guns? Are they like playing?
I don't know, maybe I think it's because
they got paintballs.
It's a deterrent, right? It's a deterrent and it's non-lethal, but that's not what the news is going to say. And by the way, that was, I think that was like Border Patrol, because Charlotte didn't really have ICE. Everybody's saying ICE. Charlotte had Border Patrol there. But
what do you think about that? I mean, what are we supposed to do?
Well, I think
you got a problem.
I think it's difficult.
But you can't like, as a dad, like, you cannot have a rule in the house that says you can't go into the refrigerator without permission and then not enforce it for 10 years and then blast your kid 10 years later because he opened the refrigerator. I mean, like, you can't do that. So if you're not enforcing laws over time, you're essentially implying consent.
We also need to not think that the U.S. is the only country that is or has ever been doing this. When I lived in London, the Chinese restaurant down the street, same thing, a big kind of SWAT van, black, whatever, pulled up on the corner. They got out, and like 8 different workers at that restaurant were deported like immediately. I mean, it happens.
It's awful because I don't support amnesty. I don't support people breaking into our country. I mean, no one thinks you can just go to France and live there forever without permission. They take advantage here. Tons of gun and drug violence is due to the immigrant population. We know this. We know terrorists are coming in. We know this. And yet you can't treat people in a certain way. I don't know what to do about this.
Yeah, I mean, I think what I've been grappling with a lot, and I've been listening to, so there's a podcaster I love. His name's Dave Smith, and he's very anti-war, and I'm kind of very anti-war, and there's just this kind of political thought going. But the problem with him, in my opinion, and the problem that I'm finding with myself, is I don't actually have practical solutions. I just have the thought of like, okay, illegal immigration is bad, but how do you actually grapple with the reality of it?
Well, why is it hard to do this? Why can't you say, okay, today is December 1st, by March 31st, you got 4 months or something, you have to go to this office and register, and when you do that, we're going to check whatever background check we can, right? So you get some kind of long-term or even permanent green card, not citizenship. You'll never get citizenship. We recognize you committed a felony just by coming here illegally. So, but you have 4 months to register. If you have no other criminal background check, criminal background, then you get some kind of long-term or permanent visa, work visa, or whatever, or green card. And the people who do have felonies, won't show up. Yeah. Well, okay, now do the raids, and the people you get are the bad guys. And if they're not smart enough, of the good guys who have families and have no criminal record, if they're not smart enough to go and admit their fault and get their paperwork, then they're going to suffer the consequences.
My first thought is what Brian has talked about quite a bit, and I think that's the logical compromise middle point to resolve an old issue that different people were involved in creating, but we don't have a middle ground in our politics, in our system. We have a two-party system, and Brian talks about this a lot, but every issue has to be taken to the extreme by each of the two parties. There is no representative of the middle ground anymore.
So I'm a big believer I'm a big believer in this. I think we have to abolish the two-party system, and I think we have to do it by changing campaign finance laws, because that's what actually cements it. You had RFK Jr., who actually was polling around 10% of the popular vote. Oh, thank you. 10%, around 10%, depending on the polls. And he couldn't even be on a debate stage. Like, he couldn't even be on the ballots. And then they tried to keep him on the ballots when he actually joined MAGA. And so what's happened is that because of the financing, because of the campaign finance laws, the super PACs, all those things, everyone has become, you have to be either a Republican or a Democrat. If you rewound, okay, and we walk in and Dad's watching Bill O'Reilly on Fox News, Donald Trump wasn't anywhere close to that. He was not a Republican from early 2000s at all. He was a Democrat. He went to Hillary Clinton's wedding or whatever.
I forget the website, but there's a site.
Chelsea. What was it? Chelsea Clinton. Chelsea Clinton's.
Daughter, yeah.
He went to their wedding.
Yeah. Hold your thought for just a second, because I remember back when he ran in 2016, there was a website, I forget the name of it now, Where I Stand or Where You Stand or something like that, and it just compares political platforms, policy positions for all these different politicians and candidates at the state level and local. Like, it's an impressive website. But when you ran it through what Trump's entire platform was, the closest match out of anybody was Bill Clinton. 1990s Bill Clinton is the 2016 Donald Trump. Now, I don't know what they would say for his 2024 run, but 2016 Donald Trump equaled 1992.
Minus abortion.
Yeah, minus abortion. Absolutely big difference. But the rest of it was just centrist. They call it centrist.
On foreign policy, tax code,
absolutely,
immigration, things like that.
Yeah,
it's all the same. And so, but then you take
on a
someone,
chart, they're just in the same exact point.
Yeah. There's really five, in my opinion, political parties. Right? There's the far right, which is your Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Rand Paul, Ron Paul, libertarian, isolationist, America First, right? And that's where a lot of people are going, especially young people are going there. By the way, the single most important race in all of politics is in May, it's Thomas Massey's. I'll get to that in a second.
I have no idea who that is.
Okay, but then you have right of center.
It's his parade, right?
Yeah, he's the parade guy.
Yeah. Right of center is Trump, and the Republican establishment, MAGA, if you will. Which, by the way, if you've looked at the polling numbers, is crumbling before our very eyes. Mm-hmm. It is bad, and we are going to get. We're going to get smoked in the midterms, guys. It's going to be the biggest.
When are the midterms?
Next May.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So then you have the center, okay, and I think that was like the coalition of like Elon and RFK and Tulsi Gabbard and even Joe Rogan I'd put there, okay. Then you have left, which is Obama, Biden, Gavin Newsom is trying to fill that void, and then you have far left, which is AOC and Bernie Sanders. Those are the five political parties we have.
That's smart. Yeah, that's good.
But they still have to group up into two.
They have to group up into two, and they have to compromise their values, and you can't actually have an intellectual debate. And then
you can't have a compromise on an issue like immigration, amnesty, and things like that.
And it's always a civil war within the political parties. Like, there is a massive political.
Where is Tucker Carlson?
Tucker Carlson is with Marjorie Taylor Greene on the far right.
Okay.
Yeah, like he is being told, like Lindsey Graham is saying that like he needs to be canceled.
Yeah, he used to be like center right, but now he's
he keeps moving more right because he's
waking up.
He's waking up. Yeah. Like I think I saw a poll saying that Trump's favorability with under 30-year-olds went from, at the time of the inauguration, he was +1, okay, and now he's -54.
Whoa.
And now polls are hoax or whatever. But what you need to look for in polls is trends.
Yeah.
Why did so many people get sick of Trump so quickly?
Because I can tell you a number of reasons. One, the deficit. Okay, he's going to increase the deficit more than Biden did during COVID with the big beautiful bill. That's one. So we're bankrupt. Two, the wars. We're about to go bomb Venezuela.
Why?
Because they have oil. And I thought we learned our lesson from Iraq.
Ostensibly, they are funneling drugs into the United States.
Yeah,
but behind the scenes, they've got oil.
They think that we can fall for this again. It's like, guys, the war in Iraq was not about terrorists. It was about oil. Everyone knows that. And even Trump campaigned on that. And now they're going to do the same thing by saying, oh, we have to stop the drug cartels in Venezuela. Well, why not Colombia? Why not Brazil? Why not anywhere else? Oh, it's because Venezuela has more oil than Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And it's it's convenient that it has a socialist government
Yeah.
that they can
Demonize.
a dictator
Yeah.
that they can try to overthrow. So,
Right. Here's something crazy.
Like my whole thing with Trump is, get rid of the elite.
Yeah.
It was a war on the elite. Drain the swamp.
Yeah.
Like that was my whole thing.
Yeah, he became a swamp creature himself, and like
Really? You really
yes,
think that?
Yes, absolutely. He's a swamp creature. He is. He's bought and paid for, man. It's done. And everyone under the
Why
age
do
of
you
30
think
knows
that?
it. Because he follows the money. He's a
AIPAC.
businessman. APAC is a big deal. Miriam Edelson is her name, I believe. He
Who's that?
is a major donor of. I mean, she just gave $20 million against Macy, I think, in that race. So let's just talk about Thomas Massey for a second. Thomas Massey is a Kentucky congressman in the House of Representatives. Okay, he's a genius. He went to MIT, I think, and he lost his wife, so he's a widower. But
I see his
that was a
picture?
suspicious
Can I see his picture?
story, by
put,
the way.
put Thomas Massey up.
the timing of his wife's death was suspicious.
This guy, I wish he would run for president. Okay, he literally runs. He has a. Here he is. He has something on his lapel that shows the national debt in real time.
There you go,
It's
Nicholas.
actually hooked up to the U.S. Treasury. There you go. This is Massey. Okay, he is. He actually is getting more popular because Trump.
Dude, I have got to do that as my Christmas picture next year.
Yep.
Get all my kids with guns.
Yeah, and he got slammed for that.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So there's his wife who passed away like a few years ago, I think.
Why
But-
did you say that was suspicious?
She died. Supposedly it was an illness. It probably was. The timing was weird because he had just come out publicly against something, and I don't remember what. But it was.
He has not
Just weird.
received $1 from AIPAC, not one, and he is not funding any wars. He's voting against it. He voted against the Big Beautiful Bill because of the deficit that it incurs. And then Donald Trump blasts him on Twitter or Truth Social or whatever, and says he's going to primary him. So this, I think, is what's happening, and I think this is fascinating. Okay, you have MAGA, who's going to go against that guy. Okay, that guy's a libertarian. Stop spending money.
Can't
Stop.
be libertarian. I can't be libertarian.
Why not?
All right, you got to watch my episode. Why Catholics can't be libertarians.
Oh, I don't watch your show. Sorry. Just kidding.
Actually, while you were out, is great. we recorded a cold open while you were out.
Oh, did you?
Brian looked into the camera and he's like, "What'd you say?" I don't even know.
I've watched a few episodes. I really like. It's really good. Like, and I watch a lot of the shorts. But I understand there's and I don't really mean libertarian in the sense that you probably do. You probably are thinking about it more like with political philosophy. I'm thinking about it way more as this like the Ron Paul, like practically, like don't. Ron Paul was the only guy who said don't go into Iraq, and everyone called him a traitor.
Okay, that's fine. But that libertarian to me is an economic philosophy.
Yeah.
It's that the government has no place in society, and usually when they talk about that, it's in reference to regulating the free market.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
it's a laissez-faire kind of philosophy, and you do that, and you end up with child labor. Working 6 days a week for that's the problem. And the Catholic Church has always said you have to have government oversight of the marketplace. Otherwise, greed takes over. I mean, there is a role for anyway.
I think if it was a clean slate.
So when you say libertarian, people
Right.
mean different things.
I understand.
Maybe that word's getting.
if it was a clean slate and they were making a government, I don't think he'd be a libertarian in that sense. But he's a really a contrarian to the existing.
I need to start looking at
structures.
it. People say libertarian in terms of their foreign policy.
Yes, it's really anti-war,
Okay.
anti-military industrial complex, what is it? The welfare state, like all that kind of like the handout. So he's representing that. Marjorie Taylor Greene just announced that she's not going to run for re-election. Okay. He just announced it like a week ago or whatever. Now it's funny because she's going to get her pension right before she says she's not going to do it. But regardless, she's getting blasted by Trump. Remember that blonde girl with the MAGA hat that would always go around? That's Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She was like the MAGA person. And then she turned on him. Why? Because of Gaza, because of Venezuela, because of the Big Beautiful Bill, because of all these things. And so what's happening is the coalition that was MAGA is fracturing. Joe Rogan would not vote for Donald Trump today. He would not. And neither would Tucker Carlson. And Tucker Carlson literally campaigned for the guy. Yeah. So MAGA's crumbling, and J.D. Vance has a tough uphill climb to. How do you do that? That's the worst job on planet Earth. You can't say anything against Trump because the people who are all Trumpers cannot even hear a criticism about the man because he's a god to them. Okay. But then also you have to also bring in these other factions. So anyway, in May, what's happening is this midterm election is what I'm going to be watching so closely is they are primarying him, meaning the sitting president of the United States is putting up another candidate to get him out of Congress. And they're going to fund that person with all of the AIPAC money and everything. I think Elon Musk is going to fund that guy. And I think that's where the America Party is coming. I think this is the battleground for the Elon Musk coming at MAGA. I think he's got some bad blood from his Doge days, which was all a scam and a fraud. He realized that it was a futile effort at best.
Who?
Elon.
Elon
went in.
What was a scam? I thought they cut out a lot of.
They did, and then they just added it back in the big beautiful bill, like the next day. It was crazy, and so he's saying this is ridiculous. Anything I do, my Tesla shares have plummeted. People are firebombing my car dealerships. Why am I doing this? And so he's gone. But he understood the swamp. Elon understood the swamp, and I kind of like him because he can't run for president because he's a foreign born. So someone from the outside being able to say, "Hey, I'm not going to become president, but I'm going to start a political party." I hope he puts his money behind this guy, because that's going to be the civil war on the political right is MAGA funding the opponent of Macy and hopefully the voice of the people. Like Donald Trump should not be picking the congressman of Kentucky.
And with the money they basically can.
Yes, because of the corrupt nature of our campaign finance laws. Yes.
I won't believe a third party can exist until I see it. I think like the natural evolution of our government is the end point is a two-party system, and maybe beyond. You just lose the government completely. You lose your whole political system into something else like socialism. But I think the two-party system is just the inevitable end point of where we started.
It's fracturing like really bad. Mandamdi and
but isn't
the
right fracturing more than the left?
I think it is.
So that means that we're going to get crushed.
Yes, it is. Now the left has been in shambles for a long time. Yeah. If you go on Fox News, and I watch Fox News sometimes just to see what people are talking about, they keep talking about the civil war on the Democratic Party. The civil war.
But that's on the right.
It's more on the right, and they're trying to just cast it onto the left.
Interesting.
It's real bad. You got a guy, Jesse Waters, in Tucker Carlson's time slot calling a civil war on the other side. Come on, give me a break. It's bad. And it's and really at the end of the day, it is spending and foreign policy. That's what it comes down to. And the youth under 30, under even 40. So Mamdani, sorry. Everyone.
Who the hell's that?
He's the guy who won the mayor election in New York.
Yeah.
And he's the socialist.
And he's a Muslim.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the Fox News thing. Socialist Muslim. And, okay, great. I'm not a fan of
Islam.
I'm not a fan of either of those things either.
Muslim
but no one's asking one simple question. How did a socialist Muslim win? And shouldn't we be learning a lesson about that?
Good point.
And I have quite the answer. I believe it's in one clip. Can we play it? Play the debate. Can we play a video on this?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell me what to find.
So ask about the foreign visit question. Foreign visit question. Mayor campaign.
Mamdani.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, right here. Is that 1 minute and 23 seconds?
1:29.
Yeah, do that. Let's see if this works right here.
Okay, let me get this up. Hold on a sec. All right, Nicholas, you can put that over.
I am a 30-year-old. Let's put myself in the shoes of. I'm a 30-year-old living in an apartment in New York City. Hot dogs on the street corner cost $7. Okay, there's lots of illegal immigrants running around and causing crime. Okay, and the Mets stink. And then my mayor is answering this question.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my 4th trip to Israel, followed by my 5th trip to Ukraine, 2 of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani?
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
No,
as a state with equal rights.
He won't
Not as a
say it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear
his
on
answer
that.
was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that.
That's what he was trying to say.
No. Unlike
No,
you, I
you
answer.
never-
Unlike
you
you, I
never
answer
said
questions
no.
very
Okay.
directly.
All right.
My goal would be.
Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? Like, you have Cuomo, who killed a whole bunch of old people during COVID, okay, and in the middle of a sexual, scandal, right? And then you have this guy saying, I just would stay here in New York City and talk Jewish concerns. There's enough Jewish people here for me to...
He's not the president. He's the mayor of New York City. Why does he need to go to Israel or anywhere?
That's the right answer for someone under 30-year-old who can't afford a hot dog.
Mm-hmm.
What you have here is the political elite, and you have an outsider.
Mm-hmm.
Trump used to be the outsider.
Mm-hmm.
He is not anymore. He is politics now. So
I hear you. When I think of the Trump who was running, if he was asked that question, he'd say, "Why am I going to go to Israel? I'd stay right here.
Right.
I got a job to do here. Why do I need to go?" Mm-hmm. I could totally see him saying that. But now he would say he'd go to Israel. Right?
Absolutely, he would. I mean, he had the hat on.
Damn. You're saying then that the swamp really swallowed him up, like it got him.
Absolutely. The first term, he made a big mistake. He had John Bolton in his cabinet, who is the ultimate swamp creature.
Yeah, I can't stand that guy.
He had all these people that were, he picked the wrong people to be alongside him. Okay. Mm-hmm. This time, I think he did a lot better in picking. Like, he had outsiders. Tulsi Gabbard was disowned by the Democratic Party. He had Pete Hegseth, I'm not a fan of, but he was still an outsider. Kash Patel, who I think is the biggest joke in American politics.
Why?
Because he's not good at his job. He campaigned on release the Epstein files. He was on Fox News saying we got to release the Epstein files every other day with Dan Bongino. They both become the director and the deputy director of the FBI, and they say it's a hoax.
Are we going to get into that now?
Yeah, sure. Because they won't. Like, Trump literally called it a hoax.
Yeah, why did that? Why the radical turn? Right, everyone has to recognize there's a radical shift, even out of Trump's own mouth.
Yes,
radical shift on the Epstein.
It's not to protect Trump or other elites.
That's what everyone thinks. It's the super shallow thing. Like, oops, Trump must have realized that his name was on the list. That was not it.
It's because Epstein was part of our own intelligence apparatus
and Mossad.
Which is part of our apparatus.
Mossad, yes.
Yeah.
So what you have here, the deep state, in my mind,
they have to protect our intelligence apparatus. That's it.
Yes. It is an unbridled strength or power in the CIA and Mossad, which are concentric circles. I mean, CIA and Mossad are like the same breathing organism in my mind.
But okay, did Patel not know this? And did Trump not know this? I mean, do you think that they learned, before they knew, they were saying, we're going to release these things. Then they got into office and they learned something and they're like, oh crap, I didn't realize how deep this was.
I think so. I think you can see the shift in somebody like Pam Bondi too. Like there's a great YouTube channel called The Behavior Panel for people who haven't heard it. Chase Hughes really well.
Yeah, body language guy.
Yeah, and the Behavior Panel is for body language experts, and they do a great job breaking down one of these press conferences that they had from the White House. It had Pam Bondi, Marco Rubio, and Trump in it. And they handled all the questions with the whole hoax, and we've got the truckload of documents. It takes a long time, and the FBI was holding it, and we didn't have access to it, all this stuff. But they do a great job with two things. They do a great job showing how these people were talking about Epstein before, from a body language perspective, before they got into office, basically. And how enthusiastic they were about it. They seemed, everything about their body language suggested they believed they were going to go expose this and be the hero
Yeah.
Right. And then they get in and they turn into like a golemized version of themselves in their body language. And it's just everything shifts. And then the second thing they pointed out was how insanely nervous they got, specifically Marco Rubio, with his blink rate going through the roof when the press reporter ended up asking about rumors of ties to intelligence agencies. That's when Marco got incredibly nervous.
Well, that's when, okay, so Epstein got off by, what is it? Was his name Acosta? No, not Acosta.
No, yeah, it was.
It was Trump's first secretary of
You might be right about
something.
It was Acosta.
And because he was the prosecutor in Florida during the time where Epstein got caught the first time. And then he got off because he belonged to intelligence.
He admitted that. That guy said it.
Absolutely. And so Epstein is now more than about
Alex Acosta.
Alex Acosta. Okay, my memory served me well, I guess. So what Epstein has become is it's not just a, minor trafficking.
Right.
It is way more than
That's
that.
why I want to keep learning about
the
it.
swamp.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's the thing. I was telling Ashley, I was like, listen, I want to watch these documentaries on him, and I'm trying to learn more. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with a prurient interest in some pedophile. Yeah. It's not that. It's that this guy, I think he's like a key to unlocking the international swamp and the insidious linkage between big government and big business or big dollars. Like there's something when you understand how this guy was operating, if you can understand how he operated with politicians and billionaires, then you unlock like the secret to how the world operates.
He's a skeleton key. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
I really think that's not an exaggeration.
No, and that's why we elected Donald Trump, was to unlock that.
Make sure to follow @Conor Gallagher Show on Instagram and Facebook. It's there where you can engage with the content much deeper, behind the scenes footage, behind the scenes content. It's going to be fascinating. Now back to the episode.
What did you say to me about this recently? We talked a little bit about
I said two things. One, I'll just say I think he was running the big business and big government side of the intelligence racket for blackmail. And P. Diddy was on the Hollywood and pop culture side because he was doing the same exact thing.
You got to help me
in a more
P. Diddy is Puff Daddy.
Okay, so I've really
Sean Combs.
I've heard P. Diddy a million times. Yeah. That's not his real name. His mother did not. Was his name
Sean Combs?
Okay,
he was a rapper and producer in Hollywood.
Would I recognize a single song by this guy?
Yeah, you would have. You'd recognize a couple. Probably.
You might recognize what he looks like, but like he was like a big rapper when you were in high school.
I wasn't listening to rap. I was listening to.
All right, listen. Do you remember the Godzilla movie from the 1990s?
Yeah.
There was a song in there that sampled Kashmir by Led Zeppelin in it.
Yeah.
And it was
that's a great song.
Come With Me. Kashmir is a great song. But Puff Daddy at the time, P. Diddy now, changes his name, sampled that song Kashmir in his song Come With Me, which is like the theme song of that movie, Godzilla.
Well,
I'm totally lost. What does P. Diddy mean?
Well, it's just his name.
Why did he?
Doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't matter.
I want to know.
It's like there's no logic to it.
Diddy.
It's brain rot. It's brain rot.
Yeah.
All right. So,
but yeah,
I've heard he's on trial. I don't know what happened. So he was doing a similar thing. He was blackmailing celebrities with essentially child trafficking.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you think he was working for the government?
I do.
Wow.
I think it's the same playbook.
It's the same playbook. It's sexual blackmail is like the playbook.
Yeah.
Because it's the most heinous thing you could possibly have. So, like, what is the thing that everyone in planet Earth disagrees with? The only thing that can unite us all
sexually molesting a child
is that pedophilia is like the worst evil. Like, you can even disagree on whether or not a baby is a baby or a clump of cells. Like, and I obviously believe it's a baby, but
whatever, you're pro-abortion, we know it.
Right. But no one can say, hey, it's okay. And so
some are.
It's very, very few.
But even in prisons, that's the number one reason that prisoners kill other prisoners is if they were
hurt kids.
It's the best way to hold blackmail over someone's head.
Yeah.
And so they especially them and they film them, and then they got that hard drive.
In some cases, they kind of force them to do it, and then it's not even that the person wanted to necessarily, but they get so trapped up in like, I have to have my career out in front of me, and so I'm going to do this because everybody's forcing you to. They're
I think
surrounded around.
Wait, what? Forcing someone to
Yeah, like they'll host parties and things like that where these things, B. Diddy called them as what, freak-offs or something
I
like
don't
that.
know. I've never been invited.
There's a famous conspiracy theorist who I shouldn't name.
I'm not important enough to blackmail. That's what I mean.
Well, I mean, this gets wrapped up in the Bohemian Grove stuff out in California.
Dude, I think some of that's real.
A lot of that, it is.
Real.
Yeah, and a lot of that stuff, though, they say they bring in these powerful
the
people who
underbelly.
don't know what they're stepping into. And then they've got these dark ritualistic aspects and, threats made against them that your career can either continue and succeed right now at this pivot point, or it can fail and you can end up dead or at least just irrelevant and gone. And so they have to make this power-hungry decision, and what they're presented with, literally, in many cases, is another human being to take advantage of, and they're forced to do it on camera as blackmail against them.
Yeah.
What's insane to me, and one of my favorite podcasters, Daryl Cooper, talks about this a lot. But so Epstein was charged with child trafficking.
Yeah. How did he not go to jail for
because
ever?
Acosta
Right.
threw it under the rug, right? But then he remained a socialite in Palm Beach and New York.
Yeah. How did people not?
Why did people not
accept
say,
him?
I'm
Yeah.
not going to get on that plane called the Lolita Express? Like, what? And so what does that mean? Like, if you were convicted
They
of
all
that,
believe they're
you wouldn't
untouchable.
be invited to Thanksgiving, buddy. Okay, right.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, right? But all the power players, okay, Trump is in that. Okay, Trump lived down the street from him in New York and lived down the street from him in Palm Beach. Okay, like both. And he is in that whole socialite, influence, business, politic kind of sphere. How do you not cancel that guy? You can be canceled for saying a hateful slur or something anti-Semitic, but not for trafficking children? That's insane.
He was convicted of that?
Yeah, well, I mean, enough. I mean, even if it is like, and his plane was called the Lolita Express.
Yeah, that's a metaphor for something.
Yeah, look that up. Where that it came
Lolita's
from?
it's a literature thing.
It's a book about
child molestation.
About child molestation. Yeah, you wouldn't see me anywhere near. And how about you wouldn't see me anywhere near that plane? Especially if I'm running a business or running for office.
Yeah, Vladimir Nabokov's Lolita.
Yeah.
The plot centers on a middle-aged man and his sexual obsession and abuse of a 12-year-old girl.
Okay, so
Lolita.
It's awful.
So your point is that these celebrities who knew he was convicted, probably knew what he was doing to begin with, but even though it was public, they still hung out with him. They still got on his plane. They still did all this stuff. Part of that's arrogance of thinking I'm untouchable.
Yes.
And the other part of it is
knowing that they have something on me that they could release. I mean, it's both sides
so
of that
you
coin.
play along.
It's both sides of the coin. Back to Epstein being in intelligence, I feel like this headline went pretty unnoticed about a month ago, October 30th. Nicholas, you can pull this up. Yeah. But just to prove that he was involved in intelligence stuff. So Ehud Barak was the prime minister of Israel around the time of the Syrian civil war, and there are leaked emails from between Epstein and Ehud Barak about how to manage getting Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria, out and how to create the instability there. And Epstein successfully brokered negotiations and meetings between Barak and Vladimir Putin. So, if you want to say he doesn't carry a badge saying he's in Mossad, okay, he doesn't carry a badge, but he's in intelligence.
Absolutely.
Who the heck is doing that? Elon Musk is not as successful as he is as a businessman and big, elite kind of guy. He's not typically negotiating the heads of state meeting to, coordinate how to handle a civil war in another country.
Yeah, why would a private financier, financial planner guy allegedly...
Jamie Dimon's not really doing that.
Right. Right. Why would somebody be doing that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think the Epstein stuff, I think it's the key to unlocking so much of what we...
And it's not going to
all of these different conspiracy theories that kind of come around this...
Yep.
The center issue of an international swamp, a world global swamp. And Epstein seems to be able to unlock
So I think all of the withholding the files and redacting all this other information, I don't think it's actually about redacting the names of individual people. I think it's about redacting the role of the intelligence agencies involved from the beginning.
Absolutely.
You know.
So like
Interesting.
So Trump has that famous quote when he was running in 2016, and it said, "I can go shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose a voter." Right. Well, he unfortunately has lost a ton of voters by saying that this was a hoax. A ton. I'm gonna say unfortunately. I'm not a big fan of Trump right now, obviously.
Yeah, he revoked his outsider status.
He revoked his outsider status by saying that the Epstein was a hoax and insulted our intelligence as well. Like, here's another crazy thing. Go ahead and pull. I sent you something. This was shocking to me, and I don't think you said this has gone underreported. And as soon as you said that, this is what I brought up.
If you can put this on screen, Nicholas. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Do you know who that guy is, Connor? Meeting with Donald Trump.
I have no idea.
It's in the caption.
Ahmed al-Shara.
You got to let Connor try to pronounce these things.
Yeah, go ahead.
Come up.
I don't even know how to pronounce
Ahmed al-Shara.
Yeah,
I heard you say it.
Yeah, the president of Syria.
Okay. Okay.
Meeting in the Oval Office. He was a leader of Al-Qaeda. The leader of Al-Qaeda, who we fought in the war on terror. Okay. And now he is the president of Syria. The president, the guy George W. Bush was trying to kill, and General Petraeus is now meeting in the Oval Office with Trump, getting sanctions taken away from Syria. Think about how insane that is for a second. You could probably pull up another image of him with like the whole military garb on. Like, he was fighting us, killing our soldiers, and now a short 20 years later, he's a diplomat, or not more than a diplomat. He's an ally to us in the Oval Office. This is weird. And when I saw that, I was just thinking to myself, nothing's real. Like this, all this foreign policy stuff. Yeah, this is insane.
Nicholas, yeah, thanks.
That's the president of Syria. Meeting with Trump in the Oval Office.
Why? What's the diplomatic situation here? I actually didn't know anything about this at all, so this is new to me.
I think that it has something to do with Russia. I think it has something to do with, if it's the Middle East, Israel is going to destabilize everything and get their people in. That's what the whole regime change thing is. And so you can go look up like 7 wars in 7 years or 7 nations in 7 years, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is all just the result of constant destabilization to strengthen Israel in the region. And they finally got somebody that they can do business with, and so everything's all in good. And we're just going to forget the last 20 years and all the veterans who died.
Well, they can do business with probably also that they can, control. Right?
They can control.
It's not just it's control.
It's all about control.
Everything with Ukraine as well. This dovetails there, but Victoria Nuland.
Yes.
And just manufacturing their color revolution there and trying for the U.S. attempting to choose who the next president of Ukraine was going to be back before it ended up being why am I drawing
Zelensky.
Zelensky, thank you.
Like, we installed Zelensky.
Yeah, we did.
And now we're trying to put nukes like very close to Moscow. And Vladimir Putin is the one that's freaking out? Come on. Like, that's so unreasonable.
But what we were doing in Ukraine is just a continuation of what we did after the fall of the Soviet bloc.
Right.
All of those different countries that had these oligarchs that really could be bought because they just care about money and influence in that sense. And so all these countries have these leaders, all the former Soviet bloc leaders for a long time were kind of installed by the U.S. because we could control them. Mm-hmm. But Russia electing Putin, even though he came from within and the KGB and everything, was not one of those people. I think the U.S. thought he was going to be one of those controllable leaders, and he ended up not being.
Oh yeah.
So
is he one of the only leaders in the world that we cannot control?
Who, Putin?
Yeah, I think he's.
Yeah, well, Xi Jinping as well.
Yeah, I think there's only a few.
There's only a few, and this empire building, like, I didn't vote for this. I don't know anyone that did. It's just neocons, like, run rampant since the dawn of the 21st century, and we're broke. We have no money. Like, I've read a statistic. I think it was that Trump first election, Obama, Biden, and Trump second election printed more money than the rest of the presidents combined.
Oh man, yeah.
And it's just the deficit is ramping up, and we can't even get to pre-COVID level spendings. Pre-COVID, level spending. Like, okay, we run the deficit up and we got the stimulus during COVID because no one was in jobs and no one knew what they were dealing with. It's easy to Monday morning quarterback it and say, hey, we shouldn't have had lockdowns. And yeah, we shouldn't have, but I can understand why someone would think that you might have to do that, especially if they're getting wrong advice from a scientific or a science lobby that has a major conflict of interest. But okay, we spent a lot of money then. Why are we spending money now more than when we were in COVID? And that's the problem I have with the big beautiful bill. I'm sorry, it ramps up the deficit to an unimaginable amount, and that's why that's why I go back to Massey,
because it's a betrayal of the campaign promise.
It's a betrayal of anyone under the age of 40 that has to inherit this economy.
Yeah,
but if he goes to Congress and he's there for 10 years, doesn't he just become a swamp creature too? I mean,
it's easier not to be a swamp creature when you're in the House because you have to run every 2 years. You're more local to where you are. Some people, like Pelosi, she's obviously a swamp creature, but like I don't think your general congressman or woman is a swamp creature.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Speaking of swamp creatures, Victoria Nuland that I mentioned a minute ago, who's engineered all this stuff with Ukraine, I'd like you to see how she looked when she entered politics and then what she became over the course of her career here. So the same woman, but this is, what politics.
She is neocon to the nth degree. She
makes you angry.
Makes you a golem. Yeah. Right. Of your version of yourself. I mean,
there were recordings of her like talking to the Ukrainians or something like that. They wanted peace with Putin and she rejected it. And she made that civil war happen that created the vacuum that is now Zelensky and thus the war that and my next door neighbor had a Ukrainian flag in her lawn.
I hated that stuff.
What?
Everywhere.
So one of the big things, I think Tucker's actually talking about this more and made Marjorie Taylor Greene. It should be illegal to have dual citizenship if you're an elected official. Illegal. Like you should not be able to be a dual citizen anywhere because that shows split loyalty.
Yeah, that's kind of easy, I would think, to pass.
But some guy wore his IDF uniform into Congress. A congressman wore his IDF uniform to go vote on our floor.
That's weird.
Because he was in it. He was actually an IDF soldier. He was elected to represent America. This is weird, and it's weird for anyone under the age of 40, and that is why the Republicans are going to lose like crazy. There it is.
All right. That was a hell of a trip.
Sorry.
That was good.
Talk about aliens again. Not illegal.
But what's going on here is stranger than aliens.
It is.
I don't know why we have such a hard time believing in aliens.
Yeah.
When we accept the president, the leader of Al Qaeda, ending up in the Oval Office, striking deals with Trump. I mean,
he was on the stage.
Why didn't he just arrest him when he showed up at the?
Yeah. Here's something crazy. He was interviewed at the UN by General Petraeus on the same stage.
Former enemies.
The guy who was trying to hunt him and kill him was interviewing him at the UN. And it was supposed to be this big like kumbaya thing, like, oh look, we're all together now and everything, which is great. I'm all for peace.
But did al-Shara ever repent of all of his previous life?
We spent $8 trillion on the war in Iraq. And what did we get for it? Yeah. We just anointed the leader of our enemy to being the Syrian president for $8 trillion.
It's really strange.
It's very strange, not to mention the millions that died during the war.
That's stranger than aliens crashing in 1920 in Italy and the Vatican getting control of the flying saucer. I mean,
isn't that in a mountain somewhere?
Yeah,
well, the crash was Magenta, Italy, 1933, under Mussolini.
Right.
And supposedly the Vatican helped transfer the craft after the Mussolini regime to the U.S., and who knows where it went, but some people would say it's in the S4, I think it's called, facility out at Area 51, which would be under the.
How did they get it?
I thought it went to Ohio.
It could have. Is that where
there's some kind of base there?
How do you transport a flying saucer from Italy to America?
A lot of supposed crash materials went to Wright-Patterson Air Force, which I'm not sure exactly where that's located.
Yeah, it must not be that one. Must not be very big.
Maybe they flew it there. How'd they get it there?
Well, actually, so all the reports of crashed craft are like typically considered like large SUVs. Mm-hmm. Anything.
By the way, I would think that a lot of we can't go down this hole, but
that's a whole nother episode.
It is, but
next time on Giants Tamed Dragons.
Right. I mean, if there was a true extraterrestrial craft that was here and crashed, I would think that all the other sightings and everything are our reverse engineering. Like, I can't believe that there's been like 100, 200, 1,000. I mean, if they got across the freaking galaxy, they should be able to get across the Pacific Ocean.
The rumors from credible sources suggest that the U.S. probably has around a dozen crashed craft, and that other countries have some of their own too. But we've gotten some of our crashed crafts from other countries.
If they came from other planets, why do they crash when they get here?
It's true.
Some of them were found intact without any bodies on board, and so the thought is that they were actually left on purpose.
Well, that would make a little bit more sense than like they can maneuver through,
our galaxy, and they become a 15-year-old driver when they hit our atmosphere and just crash.
Yeah.
A lot of
must
them
be texting
also
when they're flying.
Are not necessarily believed to have come from another.
All right, so they're
planet.
ultra-terrestrial. They're in the ocean. They've been here all along, and they come out of the water and they crash over Montana, whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to go.
What happened with the drones in New Jersey?
We never got an answer.
I know we didn't get an answer.
It's ridiculous.
For anything. It's the easiest thing.
We got an answer. They were FAA approved drone activity. FAA approved.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. By the way, the drone activity is like kind of stopped.
Didn't we shoot down?
But it's still going.
Didn't some guy like in New Jersey with his didn't civilians shoot one down?
I don't know. I don't think so. I heard stories of people attempting to and being
really
unable
aggravating.
I know.
But the drone stuff is still happening in other countries, like Belgium a few weeks ago. We're in November right now. This will probably come out it's December 1st, but it'll probably come out at the end of the month. But back in October, I think, Belgium had to shut down 2 of their major airports because of this kind of drone activity. It's not drone activity because they would just shoot that stuff down if it was drones. They can't shoot it down, which is why they have to shut down their airports.
Well, they say drone. To me, drone means like an unmanned craft. It's being remote controlled from somewhere else.
Which it could be in that case, using that definition, it could be an unmanned craft.
Right, it might be, but we're assuming.
But it's not a hobbyist flying his DJI or whatever thing they got for Christmas.
Yeah, it's not like a club,
and it's also not. It's also
they're huge, right? I mean, they're bigger than SUVs.
A lot of them are the size of cars, but it's also not any known technology of any of the world powers.
It must be an Elon Musk type guy who's created a whole bunch of flying cars, essentially to test flying cars. We all said we'd have flying cars by the time we were adults. Mm-hmm. Somebody created flying cars, and they haven't released it yet to the public.
Well,
and so they're out there practicing. Isn't that what this is?
If you want a terrestrial explanation, sure, but I mean.
What if I want an extraterrestrial?
Here you go. Countless witnesses observed these things change shape in front of their eyes.
Oh gosh!
So what they observed. This is in New Jersey, but also in other countries. England and Belgium are the 2 I can think of off the top of my head. But they witnessed these things change shape in front of their eyes, and so when they look like a drone and they've got literally red and green lights blinking, just like our FAA laws require. Because that tells you which direction a plane is flying, and you can in the dark or whatever, so you don't run into each other. A lot of people believe it's just a mimicking function of whatever these things actually are. It's mimicking our aircraft, which would also potentially explain why the designs and looks and feels of supposed UFOs over the decades have kind of changed. It's like, why are they looking like different things than they reported 40 years ago? Because maybe the ones that are in the sky are changing their shape and mimicking different stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nuts. I mean, something's going on.
Yes.
And that's why I actually love the TV show X-Files.
Mm-hmm. It's a good show.
Because it's like, I think the whole underlying premise that runs through, they have all these little side stories of like a werewolf or whatever, but the underlying theme is that we acquired some kind of alien technology and DNA, and the government's been messing with it ever since.
Yeah.
And I think that's the basic premise to the whole show.
You got to watch this new documentary I mentioned earlier, The Age of Disclosure. It's for people like me who are weirdos.
I'll watch it tonight, man.
All the time. Like, there's not really much new in there. The big piece of like the big surprise that came out was for the average person who doesn't follow this stuff regularly, is we have the first official, highly placed government official, credible source, if you can trust anything in the government, saying that I personally not only saw the crashed vehicles, but I saw the bodies, the non-human alien bodies. I saw them myself.
Non-human biologics.
Non-human biologics. That's what David Grush called them. But David Grush was always a stepper movies, right? Like I've seen the documents about people who have seen these things, right? I'm aware that there's a program. I'm aware of the information that these things supposedly exist, but he didn't personally come out as a whistleblower saying I witnessed them myself. But now we have a guy, Jay Stratton, former senior defense intelligence executive in the Pentagon, and he's come out and said explicitly in this documentary, I've seen the crashed craft and I've seen the bodies myself. And then there's tons of other very credible people in this documentary that
why are aliens, and I know you talked to Paul Thigpen about this, but why are aliens so difficult for the Catholic to wrap their head around?
Well, because I think there is legitimate demonic activity around all this.
There is.
Lots of the stories of abductions and things like that are either just mental illness or demonic influence or both.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then there's also there's a history of when people say they're being abducted and they say, in the name of Jesus be gone, they vanish.
They're gone.
Really?
Yes, which tells you that's demons.
But then there's also cases like this where you've got witnesses saying they've seen the bodies, they have the materials, there's physical materials. And in the Moment of Contact documentary with Brazil, you've got corroborated eyewitness testimony of a military police officer in Brazil picking up an injured alien body out of the street in Varginha, Brazil, taking it to a hospital for treatment, and then dying several weeks later of an unknown illness.
Actually, like day later.
I mean, I'm not an expert on this, but I don't think he's picking up a demon.
A demon, right? No. So here's the thing: it's like the illogical jump that particularly the rad trads make.
Yeah.
Is because some of these are demons and they respond to things like the name of Jesus, that all of them are demons. I just think it's an illogical leap that they take.
Yeah.
And so, Paul's book, which I really like, here's the whole Catholic alien thing. And I got a lot of friends who are like, why do you care about this? It's this. It's that all the way up until the 1960s or so, flying saucer science fiction phenomenon that started for entertainment.
Yeah.
Until then, the issue, the theological implications of extraterrestrial intelligence in life was a legitimate theological discussion.
Debate,
and people did debate it. But you go all the way back to the Middle Ages, all the way back to the Greek times. People looked up at the heavens and said, I wonder if there's life up there. Yeah. And saints had legitimate philosophical and theological debates about it. And here's the thing, often they would come down on the decision. So therefore, I think that there's no extraterrestrial intelligence. That's fine. But they saw it as a valid discussion to be had. And they speculated on what's the Christology of this? Did Christ salvate, redemption cover these people? Et cetera, et cetera. They started, is Mary the mediatrix of all graces? I mean, all of these things. Would aliens have to be baptized? There's all these interesting questions that come up. But we have been raised to think that aliens is just sci-fi, cheap, weirdo, nerdy entertainment. Yeah. And we're not willing to engage in what I think is a dignified, mature theological discussion about the possibility. That's Paul Thigpen's whole thing. Yeah. His book is not about proving aliens exist. Not one bit of it is that. It's not. He's trying to say this is a legitimate 2,000 or longer year old conversation that's good to have. Yeah. We're trying to take it out of the cheap sci-fi thing and dignify it again.
It's only in the 20th century when people against the idea of ETs painted it with a broad brush saying it's demonic only.
And I'm sorry. I'll just say it like as clear as I can. For those people who just say all of this is demons, all you're showing is your ignorance of the tradition. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. That's a fact. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
No, I mean, I think it's fascinating. I don't know. I think it's really fascinating, and like, wasn't there instances where saints like saw demons or not? Sorry, aliens or unexplained monsters in like the desert or something.
You should tell it.
Well, I don't know. We've done episodes. Yes. So there's a lot of interesting. It's one thing. Some people have speculated on whether there is visitors from other planets and whether there's life on other planets, and then there's another group of people that have had the discussion about whether on this planet there are other intelligent creatures, not monkeys, but intelligent creatures endowed with at least enough dignity to have reason and free will that are not sons of Adam. And you could call those ultra-terrestrials. Come up with whatever name you want.
Crypto-terrestrials is another one.
What is it?
Crypto-terrestrials, like from underground, basically.
So, I mean, no one really listened to the Paul Thigpen. Not many people listen to that Paul Thigpen episode, so I guess I can say it here too. But it's interesting that Jerome, the patron saint of Scripture. I mean, this is the Douay-Rheims, right? I mean, he translated the Vulgate from Hebrew and Greek into Latin. He's a big deal. He's one of the earliest church fathers. I think one of the first 4. Yeah. But he believed. It's not whether he was right. That's not the point. That's not the point at all. The point is he believed that a satyr, I think, which is like satyr, which is half man, half horse,
like goat or something.
Half goat, half man.
Mr. Tumnus from
Mr. Tumnus.
There you go.
Lions
right.
Yeah.
He believed that Anthony of the Desert met one of those, and that he started, and the satyr, how do I say satyr was asking about Christ. He had heard about it, and they had a conversation, and that subsequently people found this creature's bones or dead body in the desert, and that furthermore Jerome believed that this creature who was talking to Saint Anthony was brought before a council of bishops and put on display for the bishops because people didn't believe.
Constantinople, right?
I can't remember.
I think so.
But a major council where there was tons of bishops all over and put on display.
That's crazy.
Now, maybe there was some creature put on display. Maybe it was fabricated.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a big hoax, and you got guys in the city of Alexandria laughing, got a bunch of 3 crazy brothers got together and, sewed together some pieces and put it on display and created this whole thing. It was like the biggest spoof ever. Maybe that's the case. That's not the point. The point is that Saint Jerome believed this happened. In fact, he even said, if you don't believe the story of Saint Anthony meeting this creature and talking to him about Jesus in the desert, then you have to believe that the bishops all were shown his remains. Like, it was put on display in front of this council of bishops.
Yeah.
I mean, Jerome is making his case perfectly clear.
Yeah.
So people say, that's not from Mars. I get that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he believed there was intelligent life form that was not a son of Adam.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's remarkable. Augustine speculated as to whether across the ocean there could be other creatures endowed with many of our gifts that were not sons of Adam existing on the other side of the ocean. Now, for him, that might as well have been another planet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this goes on.
Could have
and
been
on.
a giant or a dragon, or a giant tamed dragon.
It goes on. There's
giants tamed dinosaurs.
That's why we're just talking about Augustine and Jerome, because there's some heavy hitters. Yeah. Again, they were not saying, "Oh, I think that they flew over here in a space shuttle." That's not it. But many other lesser known philosophers and theologians definitely speculated about whether there were intelligent life on other planets.
Cue the segue. Did Augustine comment on it?
Oh, the libido.
Yeah, your libido.
Oh, you want to talk about that now?
Well, you wanted to, but I'm just saying, did Augustine comment on anything with, like in Paul's book, did he cover Augustine commenting on?
Well, that's what I was saying, is that Augustine did talk about that there could be creatures on the other side of the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, it was Augustine. I missed it.
That was Augustine. That was Augustine.
Yeah.
Other human beings, essentially, on the other side that are not human beings because they're not from Adam and Eve.
All right, well, so I'm going to help you
out. So the question then is like, would Christ's salvific act save those people and all that, and all the same questions, all the theological questions that we have, they understood that the reason that this is a dignified question is there very well may be people on the other side of the ocean that do not come from Adam and Eve. And what do we do about them?
Yeah.
Right.
That's a fascinating. Do you have to go baptize them? Are they fallen? How do we know? It's a great dignified conversation.
Yeah, but
and it sheds so much light on Christological issues that we need to grapple with anyway. It shines great light on Mariology that we need to grapple with anyway. It's a fun way to do it. And it's legitimate. Church fathers did it. Medieval theologians did it. And we have turned it into X-Files. I like the X-Files.
Yeah.
But that's what we've turned it into. And so anything that's in X-Files, we say not legitimate theological conversation, grow up, and it must all be demons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it just pisses me off.
Broad brush.
It pisses me off because there's so many competent people, those pilots that have been seeing this craft.
Yeah, right. Let's mention the
Again,
videos.
maybe that's man-made. We get that, but you can't say that's a demon.
Yeah.
Since when did demons get in aircraft and fly around? Okay, I'm done.
We know somebody who has knowledge on stuff like this.
Very deep knowledge on it.
Very deep knowledge. As much as
we sound like one of these conspiracy theorists that can't reveal the source, but we really can't
we
reveal the
can't.
source.
Yeah.
We really can't.
I have no idea who they're talking about.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Well, tell me after the show.
I will. Yeah, you do. But we have. It doesn't take a big leap to assume that we have secret craft that are far more advanced than what we're aware of. Just as a government, as a military, we've developed things that the public doesn't know about that have been, tested and could be used if necessary. But also, personal guarantee. Basically, there are other crafts that are definitely not developed by us, and confuse and surprise and create wonder in the people who would know whether it was ours or not.
Man, I have talked to some amazingly successful, influential, highly decorated Navy pilots, Air Force pilots, and they 100% confirm that there is completely unexplainable craft flying all over the place,
and the whistleblowers
and the whistleblowers are telling the truth. I know a guy who knows one of those major whistleblowers. So do you.
Yep.
And they just say we cannot comprehend the science of this.
Yeah.
Well, some people get freaked out by that. They get really, really scared, right? And it almost forces them to not believe it. But my whole thing is, if they had superior technology that we don't know, and they can go super fast, if they wanted to kill us,
that's the thing. Like
they already would have done it.
Yeah. Like that Tic Tac video, whatever the hell that is, if it had any kind of ammunition, like you could take 50 fighter jets and surround it. They couldn't do a damn thing to it.
Right.
The cliche phrase.
It takes off as a bullet in any direction it wants to at any time. It's an unbeatable weapon.
The cliche phrase that they fly circles around us, is literally true.
Yeah.
Even our fastest craft. Actually, so this documentary I mentioned, Age of Disclosure, they pointed out that our fastest craft is 4,600 miles per hour. That's crazy fast, right? These things move at 40,000 miles per hour.
Oh my gosh.
Around our craft.
Craft.
Yeah, that's why you actually have quite a lot of cases of close flybys, like where if you watched it in slow motion, like, oh, they're going to hit each other. But if you're flying that fast, and if you're kind of perceiving time at a different rate than everybody else,
how would you even see it?
Never any risk. No. Most time they don't see.
I mean, like
it.
if I'm standing here outside and something goes by me at 40,000 miles an hour,
you won't see it. No,
I won't see it.
No,
it's like a bullet going by.
What's starting to come out?
Would you even hear it? Unless, and maybe not. Maybe they're not. You can't hear it.
A lot of videos have come out recently. Yeah, you wouldn't hear it or anything. They're not making any sound.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of interesting videos hitting online, and they're not. There's probably some AI generated ones, but there are some that even predate this whole AI advent that came in the last 5 years. Where they filmed something in super high frame rates so that you can slow it down super slow motion, right? And it's just incredibly slow motion, like a dog jumping through the air. There's a video I could pull up and find if we need it, but guy's up on a kind of a big hilltop mountaintop, and he's throwing a frisbee thing for his dog to catch, and he's filming it in super slow motion. And you see the dog jumping through the air, and he's going up to get the thing, and then just zipping by them is this weird rod-shaped thing, probably like a couple feet long.
Pickle.
It's not even the pickle.
The pickle.
I mean, it's not even a craft. There's no if there are beings on this thing, they're tiny insects, they're ants. This is a small thing, but it flew straight past the guy. He had no idea until he was watching his footage later. And as clear as day, flies straight past him. There's actually a lot of those. Like, as I've found recently, there's a lot more videos of these people who have slow motion video that they didn't know when it happened that something flew by, and they watch it at home later in slow motion to see.
Could be all over the place.
Have you seen the leaked military footage of Malaysian flight?
Yes.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know what to do about that.
And it had it from two different angles. Three different angles. Like, how do you fake that?
2 from space.
Dude, how did somebody fake all that?
Yeah. Well, the weird thing is that there is the moment where the plane disappears. There's a particular pattern of like supposed energy burst there that does.
It's the opposite
unfortunately,
of thermal, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but it actually does match like a common video editing, like special effect.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that.
Well, it could all be faked.
It could all be faked, but like. There's a lot in there that's not faked. It's strange. It's an interesting thing to see.
I want to see a UFO
flying circles around the plane, though. Yeah, and nobody knows where that plane is. Supposedly, they recovered some debris in the Indian Ocean and stuff, but Madagascar. I don't know. I don't believe it.
All right,
it's wild.
Okay. Well, what's next, or are we done? I never talked about Augustine's libido, but that's okay.
Save it for next time.
Oh, I got a crazy stat for you. Okay, so there are more diapers being made in Japan for old people than babies.
Ooh.
And 1 in 10 people in Japan are 80 years older or older.
Oh,
they're under population collapse right now. It's irreversible. They're not having babies, and their society is going to collapse. And that's like Elon gets into that pretty heavily in a lot of things. But think about that: more diapers for incontinence than for babies. Yeah.
Wow.
Here's another one. I just like these things. You said to like come. What are you obsessed with? And I like stats, so I just brought stats to this. In China, where it must be in my drafts. Here we go. China, in the years 2011 to 2013, so 2 years, they poured more cement than the United States in the entire 20th century.
Whoa.
Okay, that's 2 years compared to 100. China is going crazy right now.
How do they not have a population collapse?
Because of
well, they did reverse their one-child policy.
They reversed it, so they manage it essentially. The Tsar Bomba. Have you guys heard of this one? The Tsar Bomba?
No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this was detonated.
It's a huge nuke,
detonated in 1961. The biggest explosion ever on Earth, on the planet of Earth. It was
by Russia, right?
By Russia.
Yeah.
Over 3,000 times the size of the Hiroshima bomb.
That's way too big.
Way too big. There was more.
What year was that?
That was 1961. And then I've been studying some history. I thought this was kind of interesting. There was more French casualties during World War I than all of American casualties in all of our wars throughout our entire history.
Really?
Yeah, we've lost like 1.3 million.
We were just talking with Joseph.
Yeah.
And the Somme was just
2 million, and then I started like looking at like fatality rates during war, and like we've lost 1.3 million people. Veterans Day and Memorial Day and all that, and lots of obvious sacrifice for our nation. The Soviet Union lost 2 million people during Stalingrad.
Yeah.
And 27 million during World War II.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
So 2 million in Stalingrad, and then the Battle of the Somme, the French, which you mentioned a second ago, we talked with Joseph Pierce about 1.2 million.
That's where Tolkien was. He was in that battle.
It says casualties, so I guess
that was trench warfare.
That's trench warfare.
Yeah.
But actually, the fatalities in that particular battle were higher for the British than for the French.
I can't even
and higher for the
fathom
Germans
that many
too,
people.
Supposedly.
Like I can't even fathom that many people.
Do you want to bring order and clarity back into your family life?
Hey, I got 16 kids and I understand better than anyone we need to do that. So my wife and I, Ashley, we developed a 6-part family management system to do just that. And it's based on concrete business tools and principles that you can apply in the day-to-day running of your household. So please come to wellorderedfamily.com, check out our tools, our books, and most importantly, our one-on-one coaching so that we can work directly with you and customize a program to help your family get to the next level. So I actually had a thought about this, connecting it back to the church. I don't know how I got this in my head, but the other day I was thinking about part of the reason that the trench warfare in World War I was so brutal is that we had the commanders, the generals that were fighting the wrong war. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is these were like Napoleonic type generals, that grew up and basically frontline ancient warfare that hadn't changed, since whatever. And they have all their men lined up in trenches and they're trying to just gain a foot at a time, but there's damn machine guns created now, and they're fighting the wrong way. Like they don't know how to fight any other way, right?
Never even thought of that.
Yeah,
the trenches are like the lines, like you watch the
Revolutionary War. They just sign up and they the rifles, pack the rifle and boom, and they all fall, and the next guy step up. The generals, that's the way they fought when they were 20 years old, and now they're 60 or 70, and they don't appreciate how to fight a damn machine gun, right? So I actually drew a comparison with that and all the battles that's going in the Catholic Church right now. Okay. And I mean, everywhere I turn, I see a battle, whether it's at Catholic colleges battling for the Catholic identity. I see battles at seminaries battling for their true Catholic identities, dioceses, all of our liturgical wars, battles at the Vatican, battles at religious communities, whether it's religious houses for women, whether it's Benedictine monasteries for men, whatever it is.
The culture just has machine guns.
Well, here's the thing. It's like the older guard, like the old generals who are still kind of like controlling things. Yeah. They do not understand what the real battle is. They don't get it. I don't think most old abbots right now in Benedictine monasteries, and I was just in France. Yeah. And traveling over and all over visiting Cistercian abbeys because I'm doing all this work on Bernard of Clairvaux, and I went to, 5 or 6 Cistercian abbeys and talked to an abbot of Citeaux, which is the first Cistercian abbey, and a couple of his monks. Like he was an abbot at another Cistercian abbey that closed down, and then he comes as a monk, not an abbot, into the new abbey, Citeaux, which is the oldest, and then he's elected abbot. Some of his other monks are abbots from other monasteries that have closed down because everything's closing down. I mean, it's just on a free fall, right? Yeah. Most of what the Cistercians do, and I would assume the Benedictines also, is they help other abbeys close. That's what they do. It's terrible, and they turn these beautiful abbeys into hotels and stuff. They don't know what else to do. So I kind of was thinking a lot about all of this closure everywhere. And I think you have the old guard. They don't have kids, obviously. They don't know what young Catholic families are looking for and wanting. They don't understand that this kind of new generation of traditional Catholic wants a beautiful liturgy, wants beautiful music, wants solid catechesis, wants devotions to the church, wants the sacraments frequently. This old guard is still stuck in that very short-lived post-Vatican II garbage mindset of, hey, we are just another denomination. We ecumenism is our hallmark. Yeah. And so when these older people who are in charge of colleges and monasteries and dioceses and seminaries, when they're thinking that the battle is something completely different than it is. They're trying to fit in. They think the battle of Christianity is to fit into the world. Yeah. That's why they focus on, that's why we have some kind of prayer service around a Pachamama in the Vatican, because we're trying to fit in with the natives. Mm-hmm. This is why we want the big emphasis is, hey, let's get together with the Methodists and the Baptists or the Muslims.
Coexist bumper stickers.
Coexist.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
yeah.
But when you go back to Ignatius of Loyola and those Jesuits, they didn't go to have local prayer services. They went to convert.
Yeah.
They went to convert. And this younger generation, I think, first of all, that's the only generation that's producing vocations. We understand one simple thing that I don't think that older guard really gets. And it's this: the Catholic Church is right and everyone else is wrong.
I love it. Yes. Yeah.
We're not in the ecumenism game.
Yeah.
We're here to evangelize and convert and save souls. That's what we're here to do. That's what the apostles were sent out to do. They weren't sent out to coexist with the Jews. They were sent to convert them.
Yeah.
They weren't sent out to coexist with whatever native philosophy or religion they had in India. No, Thomas went out there to convert them and he got killed for it. I think our younger Catholics understand this.
Yeah.
And so there's no need to apologize for our 2,000-year tradition, for our liturgy, for our rules of who can receive communion and who can't, for our language of Latin, for our devotion to Mary, for going to confession regularly, for our moral standards for how we raise our kids. We don't need to apologize for that because we're supposed to first live it and second, share it through conversion. Because you know why? We're right and you're wrong. That's the ultimate truth of the one holy Catholic and apostolic Catholic Church on earth. We're right, they're wrong. And if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't have needed a savior anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So the old guard doesn't get this.
Yeah.
The old guard, whether it's abbots at monasteries or presidents of Catholic colleges or bishops of dioceses, they have stuck in their head the wrong battle. They think the path to victory is to appease people, make everyone feel welcome, not offend, coexist.
Yeah.
All of this stuff that we kind of recognize, they're still fighting that battle. And what they're doing is they're taking the troops like 1 foot at a time in trench war and just getting slaughtered. They're just getting butchered.
Yeah.
This is why they have no vocations. This is why they have scandal all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, everyone knows John 3:16. You hold it up at football games all the time. It's on bumper stickers. This old guard does not understand that they are walking, talking, smelling, disgusting versions of what Christ talked about, not in Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, but in Revelation. Not John 3:16, Revelation 3:16. I will vomit the lukewarm from my mouth. They are disgusting to him because they don't have the faith in their church to go out and convert the world. They don't have that faith. Liberals lack faith. And very often, the far right lacks charity.
Yeah.
But right now, the problem in the church, with all the statistics staring you in the face, when you can't get vocations, or you can't keep them, or you can't get donor money to really support, what purple Republicans are going to win? Yeah. You want to pick a side. Pick a side. It's just human nature. So, quote unquote, purple Catholics, they lose. They close down. Yeah. And they're closing down all over the place. Catholic churches are closing. Convents are closing. Monasteries are closing. Seminaries are closing.
Why do you
Colleges are closing. They're fighting the wrong battle. They still think the job is to fit in and to be one among many. And that's why they're not saddened. This is why you go talk to some of these older bishops, older abbots, older religious superiors. Why are they not saddened or traumatized or shocked or scandalized by the fact of all of these statistics being so bad. Are they really just that totally and completely ignorant of the statistics? No, I think that they're able to look around and say, this religious community has had no vocations in 30 years, and this brand new one is booming. I think they're able to look. I used to say they're just too dumb to see the difference. I don't think that's the case.
Yeah,
I think they see the difference. I think they understand the difference. But check this out. This is so insidious at the deepest level. It's exactly what the devil would want people to do. I think they look at it and say, well, you know what? Ultimately, the closure of these churches, the reduction in vocations is a good thing. Because in the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church was oppressive and it was too entangled in political powers. Popes have no business crowning emperors.
Yeah.
The Inquisition.
The Inquisition, the Catholic Church way overplayed its hand.
Yeah.
And so now we're right-sizing. And this is good. Because we ultimately need to be one among many. Because as Pope Francis said, all of these faiths are within God's holy will. And so as all of these closures, and you close down this monastery and this college and that college, and this diocese has to bring in Africans because we have no vocations here.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. They're not scandalized by it. They're not ashamed of it. Because it's bringing the Catholic Church to where it always should have been, which is another denomination. They're fighting the wrong battle. They lack faith. And in this life, they are being spewed from our Lord's mouth. And in the next life, they're going to get their ass whooped.
Did you, after all that UFO talk, did you think you needed, after all the UFO talk, did you think you needed to remind the audience that you're a tan guy?
No, I have no idea how that all happened. It was the Battle of Somme. It was talking about the
brutality of it.
Yeah, I have no idea how long I just went on that. I'm sorry, but that's
generals,
the battle lines. Generals are fighting the wrong battle.
Well, let me ask you this question. Okay.
And so like we can look at those generals and be like, what the hell is wrong with you? And they have no other way of understanding it. Right. And I'm saying, I'm looking at these church leaders and saying, what the hell is wrong with you? Yeah. And they're actually in a way kind of accomplishing, they think that's the game.
Yeah.
Is to reduce numbers, right-size the church, become another denomination, because ultimately they lack the faith that we are right and everyone else is wrong. And they don't have the guts, the faith to say that, to mean it, to put it into action.
So I think, okay, this is, first of all, that's amazing. But let's look at, I see a parallel with the political sphere of today. Like, I think that the youth is going further right or further left, and they are not in this lukewarm state. Like, you can look at the polling numbers from Mondani to Nicholas Fuentes' like audience. Like, it's just, they do not want lukewarmness. What is it about millennials and Gen Z that is actually saying, screw this lukewarmness, I want the real thing? And maybe maybe they're misguided on what the real thing is, but at least they want it. So
they are sick of, I'm telling you, at least in America, I put all this back on Vatican II. I'm sorry, but like, you know, you can see so much of the problems in our world going back to the deepest, truest, realest, rawest truth that the world has ever known.
Yeah.
And that's the Catholic Church is the one true church. And in America, all of our politicians sold out. They became lukewarm. And so everything from the pro-life movement to liturgy to church worship, all of this stuff became so watered down that everyone got comfortable. It all started, everything, guys.
Teresa of Avila.
If you want to, there's always everything in life, economics, politics, society, music, anything. It all has a theological underpinning. You got to keep pulling back the layers till you see the theology deep down underneath everything. Okay? And so you're asking the question, like in terms of politics, why are we so sick of lukewarmness?
Yeah.
And it's because we don't know it, but it's because we have been burned by the lukewarmness of our theology in this country. And it goes back not to Methodists not being good Methodists. No. It goes back to the Catholic Church not doing what it's supposed to be doing in this country. And even if you don't even know Catholics, we have had such an impact, positive or negative, on this country that they can feel the ripple effect of it. They feel the ripple effect of Catholic lukewarmness. Listen, I'm not sure that a serious devout Catholic in the history of America would survive in our. I mean, there have been good, solid Catholic politicians. I'm not saying that, but if we were not allowed to participate in politics in this Protestant country, founded by Enlightenment philosophers, okay, if we are not allowed to participate in the political sphere, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. I mean, then you're just the outside voice who are saying, we need to repent, we need to change. I'm sorry, John the Baptist didn't get invited to the good parties.
Yeah.
He didn't. We're supposed to be outsiders, especially in this country. Now, we were insiders in Christendom in medieval Europe, which wasn't so damn bad. I mean, people make it sound oppressive and the fiefdoms were bad for people. No. These people live pretty darn good lives. Hilaire Belloc has kind of proven that beyond doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But we're not a Catholic country. But what do we have? What do we have? We have a whole bunch of Catholic politicians going way back who have survived perfectly well by playing this lukewarm game.
Yeah.
And they sacrificed their souls.
Yeah.
They've sold their soul for political office. What we should have is bishops standing in cathedrals, picking politicians' name who support pro-abortion, gay marriage, transgender legislation, all this garbage. We should have those bishops standing there with candles, flipping them upside down and extinguishing them like in the scene from Beckett, and saying, you are excommunicated until you repent. Publicly repent. If we were doing that, guess what? Probably there'd be fewer Catholic politicians, but we would be leading in some way, and America would be a whole lot holier and healthier and happier. But that's probably not by, I'm not saying Catholics would start being elected. No. I think we'd probably be on the outside, but we would be holding everything else in check.
Yeah.
We are that counterbalance. The Catholic Church does not have to be large. We perform best when we're small. The blood of the martyrs is the seed of the church. If we were small and devout and holy and the bishops were our leaders, then we would be holding all of these other Protestants running our country in check.
Yeah.
And instead, we went into their fold.
Yeah, we're like
we became one of them.
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, shout out to Charles Carroll and Colonial Maryland for staking a claim for the Catholics here.
There's been great ones, but there's a reason that there hasn't been a lot of those.
And right before you got all fired up here, you said the word comfort, which I know you were thinking of Teresa of Avila, and how comfort is at the root of so many spiritual ills for
well, but here's the thing.
I don't even know if we're going to play any of that.
Well, the world.
I just want.
Well, the world is this.
Fired up, but
if that happened, if a bishop extinguished the candle of Pelosi and Biden and all of them,
they should,
and excommunicated them.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, that needs to happen.
Okay, if they did and it was filmed, it would be all over the news, and then everyone would be in a fake uproar because it's the news of the week, and everyone who saw it would sit there and say, "Whoa, let me look into that.
Let me look into that.
What is that?" And they would get so many more.
That bishop seminary would boom.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, this is not rocket science.
No,
it's because
not.
People
authenticity
is everything. It's what sells stuff.
It is.
But we have played this game, and I think the Catholics are to blame. We have played this game that the name of the game is to be one of everyone else. It's just to fit in.
Yeah.
And Catholics, I'm sorry, you cannot fit in. Certainly not in America. No longer in Europe. Maybe you can fit in certain places of Africa and India and the Philippines where things are booming, but we're not made to fit in the world. We're not. So join the club. We're not supposed to fit in. Life's supposed to be really hard.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do a lot of purgatory here on earth, and we do more of it when we die, and then we go to heaven for eternity, which is really long. It's like 10 trillion years times 10 trillion. Keeps going. So whatever you have to suffer during this life, small potatoes.
I heard the coolest quote during a homily on Sunday, and it was from a saint, I forget which one, but they said if people understood what eternity was, they would change everything about what they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sitting there like holding my baby later that day, and I'm like, I'm just with you for like a speck.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, there you go.
Parenting for eternity. That's the whole point of this book, is if we just had a glimmer of recognition, realization that the kid we have, and I actually think that
that's kind of like
it's harder to say my kid has, you know, is going to live forever than it is to say my kid's going to live for like 10 trillion years. Like if you think about, just think a million. It's easier for you to comprehend because your mind can't handle.
Right.
So if I said, imagine a 3-sided object, you got that. 4-sided object, it's a square, Brian. Yeah, okay. 8-sided object, a stop sign.
Yeah.
And then if I say, imagine a 37-sided object, boom, you're done. You can't picture it. So when we say eternity, you can't handle it. But now at least we talk about debt and stuff in the trillions. So we're starting to emotionally get what trillion means. If it's too big of a number to think to even really count.
What's after trillion? Quadrillion?
Yeah. Actually, look, I have a slide. I've put it, I have a slide when I give my talks and on Parenting for Eternity. Yeah. I have a PowerPoint slide that shows all the big numbers. It goes up to Google and Googleplex. Oh, and it shows the name of all these numbers. And I show like you can't even really fathom a billion.
Yeah.
You know, like you couldn't count to a billion. It'd take you too damn long. So you go up to these massive numbers.
Yeah.
I'm like, do you comprehend that that's the beginning? And I think it's helpful to envision first that your kid's going to live in heaven or hell for 100 years.
Yeah.
And then 1,000 years and then 1,000,000 years. I think it's almost more helpful to think about those tiny little numbers because you're able to appreciate it emotionally.
You're mentally stretching.
Then you go all the way to a trillion, and then eternity.
I can't do it
because at a certain point it starts meaning nothing. Googleplex doesn't mean anything to you.
How small of that number can you get to before you like almost get comfortable with it for a second?
Right.
It's like 1 year, it'd be horrible. 6 months, horrible. 1 month in hell, horrible. A week in hell, a day in hell, horrible. An hour in hell, horrible. 10 minutes in hell.
Yeah. How long do you want to? It's kind of like, what if you burned in fire for eternity, or it's like put your finger in a flame for 5 seconds. Mm-hmm. Like there's something that almost feels like it hurts more because you can sense it, you can feel it. Anyway, I don't know what the hell we got on.
I think I need to go change every part of my life now.
Yeah.
This is.
All right.
Well, this has been your first episode of Giants Tamed Dinosaurs.
Yes. I thought it was dragons.
We'll come up with it. We'll take a survey.
I had fun.
I didn't get to talk about Augustine.
Well, that'll be next episode.
Okay. Yeah. Because it's a really great thing. And it's not really just talking about his libido. It's talking about how he doesn't want to interpret the Song of Songs, the bride in the Song of Songs, as the soul. He's not comfortable with this marital nuptial language between God and the soul. He's not comfortable with that. What he's comfortable with is the bride always representing the church. And so before him, people were comfortable talking about the bride of soul and having this nuptial relationship with God. After Augustine, no one was comfortable until Bernard of Clairvaux, 700 years, shows up and he's like, no, we can talk about the soul and God having a nuptial relationship. So I'll save that for next time.
I'm just ashamed you said Song of Songs instead of Canticle of Canticles.
Yeah, it should never be called Song of Songs. It should be called Canticle of Canticles, which is a whole nother topic.
Next time.
I had fun.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks guys for checking out the Conor Gallagher Show. Please take a moment to like, subscribe, or comment, or whatever you got to do to support it. And I appreciate that very much.